3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. I am really excited about one thing this March. Not just March Madness and the NCAA tournament, but how much I am going to frustrate Pete Bellotti with my constant bandwagon jumping around college basketball. He has no idea what's coming, Maggie.
Yes, Pete, if you were worried about Perloff's NBA, switching teams, which Pete on Friday picked your new team. You're no longer a 76ers fan. You're now a Detroit Pistons fan.
Right. Yeah. I watched a lot of Pistons this weekend. But I'm on the record as a Houston fan in basketball, and we had a big win this weekend over Baylor. That was exciting. But I'm worried about my Villanova Wildcats because they had a big loss to UConn. That is going badly. So I might need a third team, and I'm sort of shopping around. I can't really do
for a mortgage. Shopping around.
I can't do UConn. Obviously, they're number one team. But I've always been pro Purdue. I think I'm going to jump back on that bandwagon. This little school out of West Lafayette, Indiana, a school this small, has never actually won the NCAA tournament.
They have a literal giant as their star player. Come on.
He does look like a giant. Wait, I thought you were a big Tar Heel fan.
Yeah, but they're not that good. So they're okay. I don't see the North Carolina getting through. I need a Final Four team. I mean, obviously, I got my Cougs, so we're good there. But I'm into Purdue. It's tough. The Sixers are dead.
Purdue.
By the way, I have every right to jump off the 76ers bandwagon. They're terrible. I can't believe that Doc Rivers kicked our butt. So I basically need 3 or 4 college basketball teams to pull for. Then everyone can pull for their own bracket, right? You root for whatever you predict. So,
yeah, sure.
So it's a fun time of year because I get to get multiple teams, maybe some new hats. It's going to be great.
We have We'll talk about our bracket stuff coming up. We'll be doing a Maggie and Perloff bracket. Yes.
And can I storm the court if my Boilermakers win?
No, because you want it banned. You want some court
I
storming
never said
banned.
banning courts. I never said that for the record. I said have some order, have some security, get the other team off the court. So when my Purdue beats UConn.
Yeah, you want order. And everyone's single file line, okay? And hands on by your sides on this court storming. Guys, you can't try to hone this thing. Maybe, more security, great. But to try to
any security,
to try to take away, to make this more orderly and take away the chaos of it and the euphoria of it is undermining exactly what the whole thing's about. You just want it your way, and Jon Scheyer wants it his way now because Kyle Filipowski sprained his ankle when Jon Scheyer has been on the receiving end of many court stormings, understands exactly what he signed up for when you coach Duke. And this rarely happens. We're not going to change the rules now for Duke University. They're going to have to figure out a better way.
I'd like it for Caitlin Clark then.
She was fine, though.
Thankfully, she was fine.
I'd like to see someone storm the Houston Cougars because that team is big and physical.
Good luck with that.
Oh, man. No one's storming the Cougs. I'll tell you that right now.
It's an intimidation tactic. Let's go to Brian. He's in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Hey, Brian. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Maggie. I just feel like I'm on your side on this one. I'm not even going to lie. I don't think that they should ban or replace like any type of rules. I think that coach was just a little hurt that his team lost. But yeah, that dude Filipowski, they're crying about him like spraining his ankle. I've sprained my ankle multiple times and been back on the basketball court like nothing ever happened.
Did you also play for Duke, Brian? Are you at Perloff's pickup game?
No. If I was, it's been a while, so you might get over on me. So.
This time, Brian. Just this time.
Yeah,
but if you were back in your prime.
Yeah, back in my prime, I probably would have gave him, you know what I mean? I would have gave him a run for his money.
Wait, Brian, let me get this straight. Your take is that Kyle Filipowski should be able to play with you should be able to play with a sprained ankle, so therefore it's okay?
Yeah, I'm completely agreeing with what you just said. I'm okay with him playing through a sprained ankle. It is not that big of a deal. He should not cry about it. He's okay. Plus the fans.
Well, we hope so. Hope so. Hope he's okay. Listen, Brian, I appreciate it, and Brian and I have the same sentiment.
Get lost.
Wait a minute.
No, Brian's cool. I like Brian. Don't get lost, Brian. Keep going. I love it.
His
like
sprained
Brian.
ankle. I don't think he was heavily recruited by a college. Get lost.
Listen, he's going to be fine for their next game against Louisville. I hope he is. I really do. I'm not rooting for anyone to get hurt. I'm not trying to sound like I'm, callous here.
But you're okay with someone getting hurt.
No, I'm not. I don't want the exception to become the rule here. This is a small exception, and it would be an overreaction to ban court storming because of it.
So if I could point out, your math last segment was a little bit off because not every game is a court storming. You said there's whatever many
10,000 games.
Yeah, that's not what we're working off of here. The number of court stormings is less than 100, and we've had far less than that. And we've had 2 important people get hurt and could have been hurt much, much worse. And it's amazing that no one gets hurt more, fans included in these things. So the math is not all college games safely end, and there's just 2 exceptions. There's 2 in a much smaller sample size.
Okay, but think about it. But that's also my point, which is all the you have to have so many things going right to even get to a court storming. You have to be on a true home court, right? The team at least has to be ranked. I mean, I don't think anyone's court storming for that. It's just so.
Kentucky was 17.
I'm just saying, but that's a blue blood. That's you're storming the court on tradition.
So they don't have to be ranked if they're a blue blood. But
but they were ranked. I just think you start trying to tell people, hey, you've got to take this thing that's really spontaneous and we're going to make it less spontaneous. The other part, too, is I do think there is some responsibility that falls on the visiting team.
They have no chance. Unless they're shapeshifters and they can beam themselves in the locker room, they have no chance to get off the court.
Okay, what if you have a timeout left? You can call a timeout and get to your starters off the court.
Oh,
Come
so
on.
the backups get the punishment?
I'm just saying.
Can't
That
call
is
a
callous,
timeout.
Maggie.
You can't call a timeout for court storming.
Hold on. What if there's 5 seconds left and you can get your guys off the court and everyone else can just be sort of near the exit?
Well, Coach K has done this in the past, which is actually why this is very interesting. But the problem is, like in this game, it was a 4-point game. Like, was there a chance that Duke was going to win? Probably not. But hey, if they throw up a 3 and they get fouled, all of a sudden it's a different
Okay, so
game.
you can't do
Like, there are plenty of games where you have court storms where they're game-winning shots. How are you going to avoid that?
No, and you're not. And that's the thing. And you could have you're going to need the tightest security, and that's going to make the cost go up. I'm all for the more security. That's fine. I just don't want to take away something that's unique to the sport just because one person got hurt. And Caitlin Clark, thankfully, did not get hurt.
Well, no one said take it away. Just organize it a little bit. Have more security so someone does not get hurt and we don't lose the whole thing. Because if someone got really hurt, a star got hurt, blew out their knee on this, then there'd be a major problem. They'd have to take some drastic step.
Imagine, like, try to explain to someone that, like, Iowa didn't win or didn't make the Final Four this year because Caitlin Clark got run over by a happy Indiana fan in a game in February. It makes no sense.
Try to explain somebody getting hurt who has a big NIL deal now. And now can't fulfill that NIL deal, and now they're not getting paid.
Right.
Well, they should get the money no matter what. Injury should not be.
Some of these places probably won't do it.
Okay, but you guys are also you're acting like you're I'd love to have you as my life insurance, like salesperson, because you're acting like this is inevitable when it's not. It is still very rare. It is a blip.
Right, but we've seen 2 back-to-back featuring 1.5 prominent people. And it's also okay
Kyle
that John Shire
Absolutely.
changed his mind in the last 10 years about how valid and useful court stormings are.
No,
Of all teams, Duke is the one that understands that this is going to happen.
I like
Yeah, and
Maggie's-
they should know how dangerous because they're the worldwide leaders in having the court stormed when they lose. 'Cause
Right.
everybody loves beating them.
Maggie's got this solved. Coach should call a timeout and bring out his 5 court storming players,
Yes.
and 2 of them should have
It's
brass knuckles, like storm us at your own. Basically, storm, and they should just start punching fans left and right because they're
it'd be me
scrubs.
and you
Who
at the end of
cares?
the bench.
Yeah.
It'd be me and you being
Oh,
sacrificed.
listen, it's better than I'm just sitting there with the cheerleaders all game throughout high school, learning
the
the cheers.
GPA.
Like, I would love to go out there, take a swing at a
Wait,
fan. That would have been awesome.
You know what it's like? It's like, when in football you have the hands team. Like, you have specialized things.
Yeah,
You
the court
are the court storming team.
I love it.
Yeah, you're the hands team, which
The
is the
Suicide Squad of
opposite.
basketball teams. The court
And by the
storming
way, and that's going to go over great when a fan gets knocked out on the court by a
my
player.
God.
That'll just
By the
work
way,
out
I'm
wonderfully.
not advocating for anyone to take free punches at fans.
I
I
am.
just said protect yourself.
Is
but-
there any?
but Perloff wants the
If it's a
heat.
streaker, then it's all bets off. Somebody had knocked out that guy at the Super Bowl. Would you have had a problem with that? No, we all want to see fans get punched, right? Fans who storm the court and put the players in danger, that's not good.
Andrew Bogish is here with headlines. Good morning.
Good morning. Those headlines are sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today. And maybe you can handle Kyle Filipowski's claim. Let's enter the spin zone of the NFL. First up is Russell Wilson, currently living in limbo in Denver. Maybe he's a Bronco, maybe he's something else by the time we get to week 1. But no matter the location, Russ says he's ready to go.
I got more fire than ever, honestly, especially over the past 2 years of what I've gone through. Whether if it's in Denver or somewhere else, I hope it's in Denver. I hope I get to finish there. I committed there. I wanted to be there. I want to be there.
That's from Brandon Marshall's I Am Athlete podcast. If you've got 84 free minutes, you can listen to the entire conversation. I hope you don't.
That's fake. By the way,
Sorry, I'll pass.
I'm a bit of a connoisseur of fake Russell voice and real Russell voice. That's fake Russell Wilson right there.
Like
That is-
AI Russell Wilson? Or
Yes,
that's him?
no. He starts to say things in a Russell Wilson, I'm on the mic kind of thing, and that there's nothing less believable than Russell Wilson when he's in that quarterback voice.
Wait,
It means
hold on.
nothing.
Here's a question, because yes, at Dan Patrick's show, you guys used to have him on all the time,
all
right?
the time, and once in a while he drop the voice and be the real Russell Wilson, but it's rarer and rarer.
Okay, I was just going to ask, do you think Russ knows the difference at this point between
Yeah,
real
100%.
and fake?
He turns it's a switch. He absolutely knows, and he keeps the switch on most of the time. There's 2 different Russell Wilsons, and it's so obvious. He starts to talk in this cadence that is so ridiculously manufactured and false. Like, you heard what he said there. Does anyone believe that?
No.
Also, Brady has this voice too.
Yes,
think.
but Russ is
Definitely.
more obvious. I mean, we've broken down some Russ press conferences. Brady at least fakes it a little better.
So is the real Russ the cool guy that Sierra loves, or does she like this nerdy, goofy? Like I don't understand their dynamic at all. I don't understand why she deals with all of his craziness. But so is he cooler when the switch is off? Is that what your argument is here?
No, I mean he's not like feeding the kids like a press conference. Okay, we're going to give I'm just going to give 110% to these
macaroni and cheese.
This grilled cheese sandwich I'm making right now, and it's all about execution. No, he's totally a different person. He's totally a different person at home. You know that.
The Russ Sierra dynamic is pretty simple. She was with Future, who was the total opposite of Russell Wilson, and that went very badly. So once you deal with that, you want the total opposite of that, and that is absolutely Russell Wilson.
So this is the safe choice? This is a safe haven for her?
Definitely.
Stability.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever seen the
Future
Sierra
put her through
video
hell.
where Russ and Sierra pull over on the side of the road and she starts dancing to the song and Russ is in the background dancing behind her? You see this, right, Maggie? So Russ dances for about 30 seconds. Then he looks up and he sees Sierra dancing and he just sits on a
Picnic
bench.
table.
He's like, I cannot keep up. There is my wife is a great dancer and way more better looking than me. I totally understand. I've never related to Russ more in my life. Like sometimes you just got to know, like you are not in the league of your wife, and there is no more person than Russ Wilson than that one.
Yeah, I'm with EJ though. I mean, I think he seems like he's a really good stepfather to her kid with Future.
Yep.
That's like the sexiest thing you can be as a man. Like you bring in the son and you treat him like he's your own, and he's doing all these cool things like because Russell Wilson is his stepdad.
He's at All-Star Weekend shooting shots with
that's
Steph
where he
Curry.
was. Yeah.
That's sexy?
Oh my gosh, to have someone treat your child that way, that there's nothing better. You guys, this is the mind of a woman here. It's not a mind of a man.
That's funny, but that strikes me as like, yeah, you want that, but that's the opposite of sexy. Like you're almost like trading this sexiness in your relationship for this stability of Russell Wilson.
I'm unlimited.
Yeah, this Sierra likes that guy?
Listen, he's good to her kid. You put up with 100 weird Subway commercials.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then there's Eric Bieniemy, the former Chiefs and Commanders offensive coordinator, taking that same position at UCLA. But first, Bieniemy wants to tell his story, emailing ESPN over the weekend about his end in Washington. Bieniemy writing that new head coach Dan Quinn did not fire him. He chose to leave. He also says he interviewed with multiple NFL teams this cycle, got rave reviews everywhere, but UCLA was the best spot for him.
Man, there's nobody who can do this on behalf of Eric Bieniemy. Like in some ways, I applaud him for trying to set the record straight on his own thing. But like this is why you have reporters in your corner, right? This is why you have people in the media, you develop relationships with them, whether you want to or not. This is the game, right? This is how you develop relationships, and then people can sort of do this for you. Am I being short-sighted here?
No,
Do what for you? Sorry.
Tell your story.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Sources say Eric Bieniemy did well in his interviews and did not get fired.
Yeah. Exactly.
Got it.
You don't have to email ESPN. Listen, I get it, and we've all kind of, not to Eric Bieniemy's at all. I'm not trying to say I played Duke basketball like Brian Harrisburg playing through his sprained ankles, but when you become someone in the public eye, sometimes people write things about you that you feel like are not true or mischaracterized, and it takes a lot to try to really answer that stuff head on if it's not going to do you any good.
My question though is this true that he didn't get fired? Because that's pretty wild for the Commanders. I mean, Dan Quinn was at his introductory press conference and made under no other circumstances that, yeah, we decided to move on from Eric and I respect him as a coach, but I thought I had to go in a different direction. I mean, that seems pretty slimy to say that guy got fired when that's not what happened, which makes me wonder how could this possibly be true? I don't know.
Wait, I don't understand the distinction. So you're saying the way he was fired
or the fact that he was fired at all. I mean, like the fact that you would come out and say, hey, we fired him because I wanted to go in a different direction, whether we think that Dan Quinn and the Commanders are a certain way or not, does suggest that, okay, Eric Bieniemy couldn't cut it for this new organization. That puts a level of a stain on him that maybe he doesn't. Clearly, he said he doesn't deserve because he said he left on his own accord.
But we know NFL, when the new regime comes in, regardless of how good the assistants are, a coach wants to bring in his own guys. To me, I didn't take that as a huge slight to Eric Bieniemy that he didn't continue with this team.
I didn't either, but apparently he did.
Right, and I think that other NFL teams could absolutely see it that way, even if you guys don't see it.
Yeah, listen.
His team was 4-13 last year. It wasn't like they were winning all these games.
Yeah.
Like it's a different. It's not like this team was 8-8 and then he got let go.
I would expect teams to understand what it means when a new coach comes on and not say that as an indictment. I think around the league, But I am interested in this UCLA thing because Deshaun Foster and Eric Bieniemy both on my fantasy team at some point in my life.
Now they're teaming
that's
up.
really early in fantasy football.
That was when you had to grab
I just looked at
paper,
Bieniemy played till 2000 and Foster played till 2008, so it's not that early.
1996 fantasy football is nothing like how it is today, though.
Right? I think my first year of fantasy football was Randy Moss's rookie year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago for me. Sorry.
Were you keeping stats by hand?
Yeah, it was off the newspaper.
Wow.
That's incredible.
It's not that incredible. Like,
it's pretty incredible.
We're all stunned by this, Perloff.
I'm not, but I've known Perloff for a long time.
That's crazy.
I'm not stunned by this.
I think fantasy football really took off in the 90s.
How painstaking was that, though, to follow? I hate to make
you know who the
here.
Maggie knows who the commissioner was. Bruce.
Oh
Arians?
my God.
Yeah.
No.
Fantasy football used to be crazy. Like the commissioner of
minute.
fantasy football
Wayne?
used to be a big deal because
Wait
they
a
had to
minute.
keep all the stats and they had to use the
Wayne?
newspapers.
I just realized there's 2 people on this show, and maybe 3, maybe EJ doesn't. There are 3 people on the show who have no idea who Bruce is.
Bruce, the ultimate fantasy commissioner in many, many ways. That's all I
named
will
all
say.
the Bruces I know, so.
I'm
Lee,
gonna just.
that's my last one.
Can I say it or do you want to say it? I mean, we don't have a lot of time.
The Pirates booty story?
That one is an all-timer. Let me just put it to you this way, if I may. Bruce is Perloff's friend from his life, in real life. Bruce has a glass eye,
Already an awesome story.
and he once lost it mid-coitus.
This guy is awesome.
Happy Monday, everybody.
Lost it or just fell out and he knew where it was
There's different versions of the story.
And that's where I back away. When the details come in, that's when my job here is done. Perloff, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, he was...
only
right
2
afterwards,
versions, right?
he went straight to the paper and saw how many catches Chris Carter had.
or didn't.
How do you see it? Yeah, we should rerun those stats to make sure he counted correctly.
Well,
Yeah, asterisk on that year.
there was so much
1998.
going on with Bruce.
Oh my God.
And there was...
I'm going to pee my pants.
And the amazing thing is, we got to get Thomas Everett Scott, the actor. You guys know who he is?
Yeah.
He was in our league because he went to Syracuse with Bruce. And he was a controversial figure, but Bruce has all these great stories because he was always single and dating and causing all sorts of havoc out there. Then he was trying to rip you off in the fantasy football trade. So he'd be like entertaining you for 15 minutes with a story about his dating life. Then he'd be like, hey, why don't you send me over Andre Johnson and I'll give you some backup running back. Like, don't try and smooth talk me,
The
Bruce.
idea of him groping around in the dark for his glass eye just to get to the paper to see how many catches Peerless Price had is amazing to me.
Wait, he had 2 catches? I thought he said he had 12.
That's Bruce, guys. But the Pirates booty is, well,
There's a better story than that?
we got a break. Stay with us. We'll do the Bruce. We'll do the rest of it after this. Yes, this is Perloff's friend Bruce. 855-212-4CBS. Has a glass eye, lost it mid-coitus. And there's a better story than that. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
Wow.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Done it. Monday morning, and we've introduced our new audience to Bruce, Perloff's friend in real life, who has a glass eye and once lost it mid-coitus. Good morning, everyone. But that's not even the best Bruce story.
Well, no, that's the best one. That's amazing. That's untoppable. Bruce, by the way, great guy. It's character. Hopefully he's not listening. It's important that everybody in this room and everybody listening never lets Bruce know that we're talking about him.
Yeah, this is our secret.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the Pirates booty story?
Well, it's the one we told.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
no, but there was
Oh, the basketball story or the pirate?
I thought there was some kind of sound effect that came
Oh
with the
my
Pirates
God.
booty story.
No, not that I know of. Wait, I think you've embellished the story. You tell the Pirates booty story.
Well, was it something about because he like lost an eye, and there was something about him being like a pirate?
Oh my God.
Am I not getting the story right?
No,
Okay, well, you tell it.
I can't. Just say, pirate, one eye, booty, and then use your connection from there. Use your
Yes.
Use your imagination.
And Bruce is legendary for this story. And the woman was none the wiser, right?
Yes, great guy.
Great guy.
And
I've
by the
never
way,
met him. I
this.
can't vouch for him, but Perloff says great guy.
Yeah. EJ made it sound like I was playing fantasy football in the Stone Age. Yahoo Fantasy Football started in 96, so we were online at that point.
Wait, hold on.
Yes,
So Bruce was the commissioner.
Bruce was the commissioner. He didn't use the paper. We had Yahoo. I was like, wait, what? I made it sound like we were the original rotisserie deli guys in 1981 doing baseball. Fantasy football was
Bill
huge
James.
by the time, 98, 99. You know, your generation didn't invent fantasy football.
I'm not saying we invented fantasy football, but I think the advent of the explosion of popularity is not the 90s.
Wait,
Yeah, it definitely was. Yahoo came along in 96, and it kind of made Yahoo fantasy football.
Wait,
I think if
hold
you
on.
looked at the money that was made in fantasy football in 96 compared to 2006, it's totally different.
Yeah, I mean, it's only gotten bigger and bigger. Like everyone who's
Yeah.
8 to 80 has a fantasy team.
And
but
Bruce's role has been diminished over this time.
Wait, the other great Bruce story is because he had a glass eye.
Oh, yeah, we
his
went
depth
to-
perception was off.
Yeah, we went to play basketball and he was bragging. Have you ever had this guy who talks about his game and you expect when you get out on the court he's going to be awesome and then he doesn't deliver? Well, Bruce said he'd been watching a lot of college basketball, so his game was on point. But he hadn't played in 3 years. So he gets out there, first shot over the backboard to the right.
Oh, my God.
And I said to my friend, I'm like, I don't think he can see the rim.
He comes
Should you
out
be playing basketball if your vision is so compromised?
Well, actually, he settled down. He was pretty good, a decent athlete. But yeah, that's a huge part of playing basketball is having depth perception.
he pulls a Carlton out there in the first time.
This is awful. This is awful. Actually, yes, I think we need to take this out of the podcast. We are making fun of somebody that is, by the way, just done way better in his career than any of us. He's very successful. He has a wonderful family. He's a great guy.
Listen, no, we're not making fun of him. This is just unreal story.
Sounds like we're making fun of him.
It's an unbelievable story. Glass eye, loses it when he's in bed with a woman. Come on, gets it back.
Immediately.
She doesn't
The
even know
Allstate
it.
good hands play of the day.
This guy's an American hero.
Definitely on the hands team. Coming up, Mike McCarthy not at the scouting combine. Is it a mistake?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She was the Heisman Trophy winner in 1986. He left her off the ballot. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Dallas Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy not attending the scouting combine in person. Hey, welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Now, Perloff, to be fair to Mike McCarthy, he's not the only one. There's a lot of coaches who are not going to the scouting combine. Matt LaFleur is one of them. Robert Saleh is one of them. Kyle Shanahan didn't go last year. I'm not sure about this year. So this is not anything about Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
He's not the only one who's missing the combine. I just want to make that clear. However, if I were Mike McCarthy, I would have gotten my butt on a plane to Indianapolis, and here's why. He's on the hot seat. So is Robert Saleh, by the way. But he's on the hot seat. I mean, you are going into this season in the last year of your contract with no contract extension. You just had an epic, horrible, awful home loss to the Green Bay Packers. How could you ever think that you don't need to go to the scouting combine? Your boss is Jerry Jones. He's going to be at the scouting combine. They're going to have the big bus out there, the coach bus, Perloff. We always see it with the big Dallas Star on the outside. Yep. It's parked right outside the Indianapolis Lucas Oil Stadium. And I would want to be glued in the hip pocket of my boss if I was on the hot seat like Mike McCarthy is.
I think this is the best move Mike McCarthy's made in a long time. What does Mike McCarthy get in the same paragraph as Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, and Kyle Shanahan? This is the most modern thing Mike McCarthy has ever done because I think McVay started this trend because the combine is stupid in a sense. I love the combine. But any team that is evaluating players based on these drills are morons. And I think if you're more likely to make a mistake based on these drills than actually evaluate a player accurately. You have to look at the game tape. And I think not being influenced by what's happening in the combine probably makes you a better drafting team because it's 2024. We know the game tape is so much more important than any drills and shorts. I think you can be overly influenced by what happens at the combine, and I think it's smart to hang back. But it's all on tape anyway. It's not like you're missing anything. So I like this trend, and I think the fact that Shanahan and McVay are doing it is very, very important.
Okay.
And they are the gold standard right now.
Well, I guess to Mike McCarthy's credit, he's actually won more Super Bowls than Kyle Shanahan, so he deserves to be in a different class. However,
no, you act that is a fact, but that is inaccurate.
Well, so here, I think Sean McVay didn't go because their team had an F them picks mentality that they were proud of, that they printed T-shirts about. So maybe they thought, why am I going to the combine when we don't pick until the third round? Anyone that we want, we can bring in for a workout. We're not going to sniff the first 2 rounds of the draft. So why are we at the combine? The second thing is the drills are not what anyone's there to do. Really, you're right. Those can be on tape. You can get that anywhere. It's the interviews, isn't it? Isn't it the interviews? Yeah. Isn't it being there for the sort of any kind of wheeling and dealing that goes behind the scenes? Don't you want to see where your general manager is forming the opinions about these guys? And being in the room with somebody is a different vibe than being on Zoom.
Yeah, but it's speed dating at the combine. Guys come in and out of the room. I just think that, again, I think you're in danger of making a mistake. You make a bias based on those little interviews that does not help your overall draft process.
Okay, but the Cowboys brass is going to be there. Jerry's there. They're the ones who are ultimately making the decision. If I'm Mike McCarthy, I want to at least feel like I was in the room for any of this stuff.
I don't think Mike McCarthy should be spending his time there. The coaching time is very valuable right now. You're evaluating players. You're evaluating your own roster. If McVay and Shanahan are not going to be there, forget it. I think there is something very important about this. The Rams have made these great draft picks by not being there. I think you can get some distance from the process and be a better evaluator, ironically. I think being at the combine gives you some bad ideas because there have been so many mistakes made where, I don't know, like Johnny Manziel went in and wowed the Jaguars is a famous combine story. That's all fake. The combine's fake. It's an all-star event. It's not real in that sense. And I think that teams have to be a little careful about the combine and dig way, way, way deeper than whatever they're going to learn in Indianapolis.
Well, they do. I think they do, especially for the high picks. I think you're going back to their college campus. You're going back to their hometown. You can't just talk to the high school coach and the college coach and say, all right, my work here is done.
I saw draft day. I know that they didn't go to the quarterback's birthday party. I understand.
You got to get it all. So here's the thing, though. None of the GMs are skipping the combine, right? So what is Mike McCarthy essentially? The coaches are skipping it, but the GMs are not. So they're still going to get influenced, whether it's positively or negatively, by seeing these guys in person. The other part of this, too, is you don't have to speak to the media. You don't have to do the press conference. And
yeah, I like that.
Well,
that's a great idea for Mike McCarthy.
No, but I'm just saying, if I'm Mike McCarthy, don't I want to present as if I'm still one of the faces of this organization?
Ooh, there are 32 coaches who would kill to get out of that interview. They hate that interview.
Okay, but you know what? Mike McCarthy is pretty seasoned at this. He's not that impressive in interviews, but I'm just saying for somebody who's on the hot seat, I would want to go in and at least publicly show, hey, I still have something to do with this organization. I'm still part of this organization. I'm still out front. I'm still one of the faces. I can still speak for this organization. It's not just about the draft, too. I mean, for the Cowboys specifically, I know we talk about this, it feels like every offseason, but the whole Dak Prescott contract thing has not happened yet.
Yeah. And you want Mike McCarthy on the podium dealing with this issue? If I'm Mike McCarthy's agent, I say, you stay home. Do not. How is Mike McCarthy going to answer these very difficult questions? I don't want to go up there and try and speak to what Micah Parsons has been saying and answer the whole Dak thing. I would just avoid that.
It's called leadership. It's
a press conference. It's a no-win situation.
How about this? He could go out there and have an opportunity to say, you know what? I told my players, hey, get this under control. We can't have your family members out here, talking about teammates. And after a tough loss, we don't need you to be exacerbating this. How about this? I told them this. That's really what your job is. You're the head coach. I told them this. I suggested to them this. Let's try to keep a little of this more close to the vest. I told Micah Parsons this. This is the type of leader I'm going to be expecting you to be next season. Like, why would you fight for your job in this way?
Why would you want to give the media anything in this sense? And why would you want to make Micah Parsons mad for no reason? Just avoid the whole thing.
I don't think you make him mad.
If he came out and said that I told Micah Parsons don't do this, that, or the other thing, yeah, of course it would make Micah Parsons mad.
Okay, but don't you think that wouldn't he actually be saying that behind the scenes? Don't you hope that he's saying that behind the scenes? Micah Parsons is, 3 years into his career? For the head coach to go to him and say, listen, man, we need you. We can't have you spilling our secrets or spilling the tea or whatever you want to say, criticizing the team. We want to keep all that in-house. You don't think that Mike McCarthy should have the agency to say something like that to Micah Parsons?
I would say there are a few exceptions in life when you're a football coach. Generally, yes, you don't want your players saying anything to the media. But I don't think Mike McCarthy's saying anything to Micah Parsons. It's kind of like LT, who had a free pass with the New York Giants.
People were afraid LT was going to rip their heads off.
You got to re-sign Micah Parsons. I understand in theory, yes, of course you want the coach to hold him accountable, but the reality is some stars are above accountability, and Micah Parsons is probably one of those.
Okay, we're talking about Mike McCarthy. He's not the only head coach who's not going to the combine, but he's one of them, and I think that's weird because he's on the hot seat. I would want to be out there front-facing. Hey, this is still my job. I still want it. I want to be answering questions. I want to be out here, with the rest of the decision makers from the Dallas Cowboys. Like I'm putting my input in. This guy knows a lot of football. We make it seem like this is Nick Sirianni, where the media comes in at the end of the season and asks him, what do you do around here? I mean, that's the worst place you want to be.
But Nick Sirianni's a classic case of terrible at the podium, had one of the worst introductory press conferences of all time and made the Super Bowl in his second year. So what happens at the podium is a different thing. That being said, McCarthy, all that he's going to be judged on is winning. It doesn't matter if he's the greatest front-facing coach of all time. If he loses in the playoffs again, he's out, right? So who
I don't know. I thought he was going to be out this year. So maybe he's not actually being judged on winning.
I think that now his seat is even hotter. He did win. He won 12 games. It has nothing to do with his presentation. I think there's so much pressure on him to win. So what's the gain from him being in Indy and answering tough questions going to make him look bad? He's in a no-win situation there with some of those topics.
Okay, but if you can't trust your head coach to handle 10 minutes with the media at the scouting combine.
Mike McCarthy, he has no chance in that interview. He would just totally screw it up.
Mike
McCarthy, the guy who admitted he lied about watching all the tape the year he was off, he couldn't handle this.
At that point, he was doing whatever it took to get a job. Where'd that guy go? Now all of a sudden he's going to sit back in Dallas and
shoot.
This is the best thing that happened. This is the first solid move the Cowboys have made this offseason. I love it.
855-212-4CBS. Big Easy is in New Orleans. Look at our show. We got a Big Easy, we've got a Big Friendly, and we have a Big Dave.
Good morning.
We're larger than life. What's up, Big Easy? How are you?
Good morning, Maggie and Perloff. I just wanted to give you a little taste of what I was thinking.
Sure.
I believe you're right, Maggie, and I think you're slightly wrong, Perloff, by a little. McCarthy is Mr. Irrelevant. Yeah, his boss is going to get whatever he wants, and that's as simple as that. That he has no say-so on it. He doesn't get to pick the groceries, And as far as McVay goes, he really doesn't have a boss. He's going to get whatever he chooses. So it's
I don't know about that.
Bad examples.
Les Snead and McVay work hand in hand. Les Snead is in all those videos of the great draft picks. He's right there.
Well, that's my point. He doesn't need to be there. These are two bad examples. Now, the rest of the other, 30 teams? Yeah, they should be there. But this is two bad examples. They're going to pick what they want. And I just want to say y'all have one of the best shows going. I listen every morning, and I appreciate everything y'all say.
Oh, man.
Good morning to y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Big Easy, thanks. Don't be a stranger. Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, if you really trust and you have a really good relationship, coach and GM, but like Kyle Shanahan might not be there. He wasn't there a couple of years ago. I still think Kyle Shanahan is a really heavy hand in making the pick.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But I think McVay and Snead and Shanahan and Lynch, those are great symbiotic GM-coach relationships. Really good. There was this video out, the viral video of how they drafted Puka Nacua, and Snead and McVay work unbelievably well together. They've been great in late-round picks. So the other thing, he's absolutely right. Do you think Mike McCarthy has any say in this pick? No. I don't know who's making the picks for the Cowboys, by the way, because they don't seem like Jerry Jones picks either. They've made nothing but interior lineman picks for the last 5 years. They're a strange franchise. They're actually very conservative drafting. They don't have any of the Jerry hyper glitz.
To be honest, they've been really conservative in free agency, too.
Yeah, I mean they're actually a smart team building. That's how you win 12 games every year.
And to be honest, yes, and that's why we're critical of the Cowboys, because Jerry running to every microphone he can find aside, a pretty well-run team. I mean,
yeah.
They win a lot of games.
There is something missing,
But
though.
something's missing.
In the ownership format there. It's hard to win a title when your owner is actually hands-on the football team. That's the way it's always worked. So there's something wrong. But I think that they've pushed Jerry to the side. I think it's big. I don't think Jerry wanted Mozzie Smith last year, for example.
Well, then we got the great Mozzie Smith storage container story from last week. He didn't pay for his storage container, allegedly, and someone else bought it and got a Michigan playbook and all of his jerseys and clothes and
a million Legos.
Shoes, and for some reason, a lot of Legos for that guy. Everyone needs a hobby.
The famous one was obviously Jerry wanted Johnny Manziel, and somebody convinced him to take Zach Martin, and that sort of helped the Cowboys rebuild their team and become really good.
Yeah, but it hasn't been all winners for the Cowboys.
Been a lot of good draft
stuff like that.
they took CeeDee Lamb at 18. That was a great draft pick. They've made a lot of really good draft picks. The guard out of Tulsa or tackle out of Tulsa, Tyler Smith, is awesome. They've been a really smart drafting team, and I don't think Jerry's making the call. I don't know who it is. Will McCall is the executive there. Maybe he's Steven. But I know it's not Mike McCarthy. I know he's not making these draft picks.
Well, the other part is we had the idea that maybe they're telling Jerry that the draft is actually on Wednesday. Or that the draft, they tell him it's draft day when it's Wednesday. They come in for Thursday and they convince him it's the second round. Yes, EJ.
No, I was just going to say that would make a lot of sense in terms of why the Cowboys have been so smart in that first round. The one thing I thought, too, when you look at someone like McCarthy who's on the hot seat, or someone like Robert Saleh who's also on the hot seat, me as a Jet fan, my first thought when I heard this, that he also was not going, and he is not gone. What am I? I mean, I sound like Big Easy now. Gone in 4 years. My first thought was, well, why the hell isn't he going? At the same time, I think it's like, well, look, Robert Saleh is fighting for his job, bare knuckle at this point. I mean, the way the media is on him, the way he's talking to, WFAN callers, or rather listeners or hosts, like, maybe it's not that important. Like, if Robert Saleh and Mike McCarthy, of all the coaches who desperately need a great season to keep their jobs, are not going, then why should I be upset? Like, it clearly can't be that important, right?
No, it's the best. McCarthy to be lumped with McVay and Shanahan is an incredible achievement for him, because his offense does not look like McVay or Shanahan to me. I think, Mag, we've talked about this a million times. You're more likely to make a mistake off of what you see in Indy if you judge the stuff in shorts too much and you ignore the game tape. And I just think you're human. If you're in Indy and there's all this hype around a prospect, you might be influenced by that.
This isn't what you guys are misunderstanding me. Why I think this is a mistake for Mike McCarthy. It's not about what Mike McCarthy is going to see at the combine. It's what people are at the combine are going to see from McCarthy. He's there. I'm representing the Cowboys. Hot seat, my ass. I'm here. I'm answering questions. I'm up in front. I'm part of this organization too. I'll hold my head up. Yes, we had this awful, devastating loss. I'm not tucking my tail between my legs. I'm not staying back in Dallas. Well, we got games to win, and we've got people to add to this roster. And the combine isn't just about 3-cone drill and stuff. We know that. We've been to this. It's basically an NFL convention without the hoopla of the Super Bowl. And you really get to meet with people, talk with people, Dak Prescott's agents, whether he's involved in it or not. Again, it's not what he's seeing. It's people seeing him, and knowing that he's still a really big member of the franchise. That's what I would do if I were Mike McCarthy and I were on the hot seat.
Yeah, you're an NFL coach. Get to work on what you do. I don't want you sitting around talking to agents. You have a lot of work to do, because honestly, your offense could be a little more creative. I want you studying tape and figuring out a plan. How are we going to get the run game back? I do not need you talking to Micah Parsons' agents. That has nothing to do with Mike McCarthy's job.
I just want Micah Parsons' agents to see me there, lockstep, walking through these corridors with Jerry Jones. When someone comes on the bus and is having the Johnny Walker Blue with Jerry, I want them pouring me a glass. I just want to be there, and it's an optics thing. That's all I'm saying. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I'm sorry, did I say Johnny Walker Black?
Yes.
It's blue.
Yeah.
How dare I make that mistake?
Who knows what a black tastes like?
Black's pretty expensive too.
Well, I don't know the levels
the red is a cheap. I saw the movie American Fiction with Jeffrey Wright, and they do a big thing on Johnny Walker Red versus blue versus black.
What's the order it goes in?
I think it's red, black, blue, right?
There's a green too.
So they were explaining that blue costs $150 a bottle.
Got it.
But they make all their money on red, the cheap stuff.
Oh, got it.
So The point is, Johnny Walker, yes, everyone talks about Johnny Walker Blue, but 90% of their profits is the cheap stuff.
I'm sure.
So
Jerry's probably brushing his teeth with it.
Yeah. I think he pretends to drink blue, but probably drinks red.
They like swap it out depending on who he's taking a meeting with.
Do you remember when Dean Blandino, the head of officials, went on that Cowboys bus and it was such a huge deal?
Was he the head of officials?
He was still the head of officials at the time, and everyone made such a big deal of it. To me, the Cowboys bus should be a rite of passage. I think they should do tours of it. I'm so curious what's going on there. That is one of the great NFL symbols is the Cowboys bus.
No, my favorite is the Cowboy yacht, actually, is Jerry's yacht that they did the pandemic draft. They were all on the yacht.
Oh, I love that. That was great.
Imagine this, just like the optics of this. You're on a yacht. Who knows how big this thing is? I'm sure it's massive. It's worth millions. And they put up a big Salvation Army sign on it.
Oh, God.
Good job. Good effort. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, we give our bold predictions for the Scouting Combine. We'll do that next. You're welcome to weigh in on Mike McCarthy. He's on the hot seat. So is this a mistake for him to be staying back in Dallas and not going to the Scouting Combine in Indy? I say yes. Perloff says no. 855-212-4227.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. Big debate here. Mike McCarthy, the Cowboys coach, is not going to the Combine. I say that is the best news Cowboys fans could hear all day. Maggie says he should be there representing the franchise. I don't want my coach really looking at these prospects up close. The classic draft mistake is a coach sees a great athlete and says, I can coach him up better than what he was in college. And then they ignore the game tape and it rarely ends up working out. So I keep Mike McCarthy in Dallas, say, Mike, here's a project. Go look at these old. In fact, I'm sorry, and this says a lot about my view of Mike McCarthy. I want Mike McCarthy to have a very light touch on whatever happens with the Cowboys this offseason.
He's the head coach.
I understand that. And he can run a nice West Coast offense, but I don't know that I want him picking my players this year.
Let's go to the phones. 855-212-4CBS. Stuart's in North Carolina. Good morning, Stuart. What do you think about Mike McCarthy?
Hi, guys. Good show. Well,
Shady.
Here's my opinion. I think there's only one thing that matters for Mike McCarthy, and that is, does he win starting this fall? If he wins, he could be the biggest doofus in the history of press conferences, and it won't matter. If he goes 13-3 and wins the Super Bowl, he'll be the coach of the Cowboys for a number of years to come. And if he goes 9-8 missing the playoffs, he won't. Look, the biggest jerk in the history of press conferences in the National Football League is Bill Belichick. And you think Patriots fans cared about that? Not one iota, as long as they won. So Mike McCarthy just has to win. That's the only thing that matters for a head coach in the National Football League.
Stuart,
great show as always.
Appreciate you. And yes, you're absolutely right. Although I don't even know if Mike McCarthy winning in the playoffs actually does matter because he got his job this year after a devastating loss at home to the Packers. If you're not going to lose it after this season, maybe you have the job for life.
They were
we just don't
12-5.
No, but
they weren't 5-12. How many coaches who win 12 games are fired in the NFL?
No, not that many, Perloff, but there's also a difference between where different teams are at and what it takes to win games in the regular season versus what it takes to win games in the playoffs. And,
I'm well aware.
Yeah, right. So in that case, I think he is only judged, like Stuart said, in the playoffs. And here's what I'm saying about why Mike McCarthy should be at the Combine is not because of what he's going to see. It's who's going to see him. You're in the hot seat. I want to at least project and look like I'm still a pillar of this franchise, whether it's to the fan base or whether it's to the players. I want to be there lockstep with Jerry Jones. I'm on his hip. You know, hey, he's making decisions and I'm right there along with him. Yes.
I just think all these cool young coaches are skipping it. I just read Mike McDonald, the new Seahawks coach, skipping it. McVay, Shanahan. I mean, McCarthy, this is the hippest thing he's ever done as a head coach. I mean,
wear pajamas at Jerry's house.
He's basically walking around saying, yeah, me and Kyle Shanahan, same. When does he get to do that? He certainly doesn't get to do that during the season when you watch both offenses. And I kind of like McCarthy, but he's no Kyle Shanahan.
Well, I mean, he does have a Super Bowl ring. And Kyle Shanahan does not. Andrew Bogusch is here with headlines. Hello.
Guys, hello again. So we like to promote violence on this show. Fans running over players, players punching, court-storming fans, and always NBA player on NBA player crime. The Heat and Pelicans had a good little scrap on Friday night, which began when Zion was escorted to the floor by Kevin Love, I believe. The league has now handed out its justice. 5 players suspended, including 1 game for Jimmy Butler, which head coach Eric Spoelstra thinks is 1 game too many.
You know, it felt like Jimmy shouldn't have gotten a game, on that. It was really just kind of tangling and a little bit of pushing. I don't think that deserves another game because he ended up having to miss the fourth quarter.
Butler having fun with the punishment, posting a Bad Boys meme with him and Nikola Jovic instead of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
I could see this. We laugh, and this is, whatever. This wasn't serious. But is this the thing that sort of galvanizes the Heat?
You know what usually galvanizes them? It's called the playoff start.
Well, I'm just saying, is this the thing? Because we're post All-Star break now. Is this where the Heat start getting a little bit dangerous?
I actually said this to EJ the other day. EJ said the Heat are not a threat like they usually are this year. I'm like, wait to the playoffs. It does not matter. I don't care if Caleb Martin or whoever is there. They'll find a way.
I'm just not afraid of this Heat team this year. I think this is different.
Yeah. EJ,
I'm
don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm telling you, they don't have the same kind of depth.
Tyler Hero got hurt in that game. 6'3" power forward last year. They had no depth at all last year. Really.
No, they had a lot of good players on that team, which is why two of those guys went and got big money other places.
And they're terrible in those other places.
Right, but they didn't replace them. They didn't replace them with anybody. That's the problem. They played good for the Heat.
Well, they got Jaime Jaquez.
They're playing somewhere else.
They got Jaime Jaquez.
Jaquez is really good, and that's one guy. And that's the guy that he drafted.
But they do this every year. On paper, they don't look like they're going to be a playoff threat. And Maggie, you've been watching this. Then all of a sudden, they emerge.
Well, what's funny to me about this is, Bogusch, how'd you put it? That Kevin Love escorted Zion Williamson to the ground. So he bear hugs him as he's going up for a putback and kind of like gentle. Seems kind of gentle in slow motion, lays him down. And then I think the funniest part about this is everyone starts fighting and Kevin Love is nowhere near this thing.
Smart.
Yeah,
Kevin Love's like me. Old men cannot get involved with those scraps.
He's like, I got to save this all for the playoffs.
Yeah, and Kevin Love is probably on like a veteran minimum contract. He's, I know he's got plenty in the bank, but he's not trying to give away money. He's bad enough. He got a flagrant for the foul, so he can give away money for that, I guess. But
at some point, we have to talk about the fact that they're playing Zion at point guard. This is not good for my Pels. I'm sorry you're making me be a Piston fan, but Zion
You are a Pistons fan.
Yeah, not making you.
Yeah,
it's happening.
It's in your
Free
blood.
will.
Zion is a thing. They lost to the Bulls. I do not like Zion at point guard. Anyway, that's besides the point.
Why, have you been watching JJ Redick's?
Is JJ not into it either?
No, he was, lamenting that his breakdown of the Pelicans changes with Zion only got 54,000 views, where his takedown of Doc Rivers got tens of millions of views. A little off on the numbers, but
my Pels were super hot, and now they're sort of starting to fade. I don't know.
Because Zion's playing point, all that thing to do with it.
I just think that they're not utilizing Zion Williamson. Like, his baskets are so hard. He has to cut through four guys and do a whirly layup thing.
Well, the problem with the Pels is I don't think they really ever got a true point guard. Like, C.J. McCollum is not a true point guard.
Yeah.
And they've tried other guys at the time. Jose Alvarado was more of a defender. Like, they never got a floor general. I think that's one of the reasons why, as talented as they are, it's hard to see them make a run. Healthy or not. Health has been the problem a lot for them, too. But that worries me, them not having a true point.
But your Knicks have a true point guard, and they're going out in the second round just like the Pels are.
Let's not do that.
Come on now.
Bogusch, any more
How
headlines?
the Sixers doing, by the way?
I'll take the Heat.
They got their ass
I'll
kicked by
take
the
the
Knicks
Heat in the
days ago.
East. Maggie started this off with the Heat. Yeah, we'll see in the playoffs.
You're a Pistons fan now. There's
there is no playoffs for you.
I know.
You should be watching. In fact, you should be watching more court storming videos because you should be scouting for the NBA draft. You'll be very high in this year's draft.
I'm not drafting someone out of college basketball. I'm going Europe G League, my friend.
All right, a lot of G League Ignite. You'll be watching.
EJ mentioned Jose Alvarado. He and Thomas Bryant got 3 game bans from this fight. They both left their bench and then had their own side fight, hence the stronger punishment. Those Pels did play last night. Zion 11 dimes in that loss, 114-106 to the Bulls. The Pacers snapped the Mavs 7-game win streak, 133-111. And I guess we'll give last night to Chet Holmgren.
Crashing left in transition, lays it up across his body, misses, but Holmgren is there with a ferocious flush on the follow with 2 hands. Thunder by 11, 96-85. It's the Chet Holmgren show in Houston in this fourth quarter. Welcome to it, baby. The rookie putting on a show, a dazzling display.
Anybody can do that in Houston. Matt Pinto, Thunder Radio. Chet with 29 points, 8 rebounds, 3 blocks, 7 assists, and a 123-110 win over the Rockets. OKC's won 5 in a row, tying Minnesota for the top spot out west. Victor Wembanyama, meanwhile, 22 points, 10 boards, 5 blocks in another Spurs loss, 128-109 in Utah. San Antonio has dropped 11 of 12.
So, Bogusch, do I have a chance here? I like this positive Chet Holmgren.
We don't need calls like that.
Yeah. Wemby still seems like the front runner now, but he's had great stats lately. Is Chet doing anything here?
You should know more than I should.
I know. I could Google Chet Holmgren game log, but
Yeah.
I really just go by your updates.
No,
Chet
I mean,
will be hopping in the car with you.
Not even his game log. I don't know what the betting odds are at the moment, but what did Wemby have? The first ever 5x5x5x5x5x5x5 game on Friday?
That doesn't sound good for you,
really?
What a horrible stat line that is.
I'll say, what's the fifth five?
But he said after the game, he was compared to, it was either Jordan or Wilt or somebody said, yeah, but those guys did it in wins. I'm doing it in losses. So even Wemby doesn't take it seriously.
He's listening to you.
So, and obviously what is on the line here is that if Wembanyama wins Rookie of the Year, Perloff has to drive from New York to San Antonio to apologize to him. I don't like the way those live calls are going. Also, he's not a rookie. Back to you, Chet Holmgren. Biggest issue with this whole thing.
I think Wemby's going to win it anyway. I actually was starting to look at maps last night because Wemby on Friday, I mean, it is unprecedented what that dude is doing.
Are you looking at the same maps that have Chicago in between here and San Antonio?
I'm definitely going to Chicago.
You are? Okay, good.
Yeah, you're not coming, Bo.
No, I don't want to now.
Yeah.
There's like a concert.
No one's
tour
going to have to go in a
before.
straight line to San Antonio.
Well,
It's
straight-ish would be
never-ending.
helpful.
This is a never-ending road trip. It's going to take a month.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing the show from your car? You're like, yeah, I'm in Santa Fe here.
That's a lot of ISDN lines for
Well, I was thinking I could do it.
Really like how the Jets looking in training camp.
I'll do it on summer break.
You pass through a Pistons team shop, too?
Can Kate Cunningham ride with you?
Yeah.
No?
I'm sure he's dying to do that.
No, actually, a friend of mine knows Jaden Ivey. Very nice young man. So
why does
I'm
Monty
down with
Williams
the
hate him
Pistons.
then?
What's that?
Why does Monty Williams hate him then? He never plays him. So recently.
I'm okay with the Pistons. I like my Pistons. That doesn't mean I can't have other teams, right, Pete?
No, you have the Pistons. That's it. Detroit, Rock City for you.
Imagine Perloff just in the car, and he's got like Lambeer and Mahorn. This is Isaiah.
And Ben Wallace.
Yeah.
Just like, Perloff makes a wrong turn. Someone just
That'd
throws an empty bottle at him. It's like, who did that? Could've been any of those guys.
As long as I have Isaiah in the car, I'm totally down with this. I don't want Isaiah in the car.
Yeah. That'd be tough.
Real quick, guys. Women's number 1, South Carolina, steamrolled Kentucky 101-85, clinching their third straight SEC regular season crown. And Messi scored in the 92nd minute to get Inter Miami a 1-1 tie at the LA Galaxy last night. Back to you two.
By the way, Bellatia's dress, what are you wearing? What would you call that? A Mets?
It's called a jacket.
Spring training chic.
You look like a relief pitching coach for the Mets right
I
now.
wish I was. They need it.
Why don't you jump on that? Why don't you follow my lead and pick a new team,
no,
dude?
because I have pride. You don't.
It'd be amazing if Pete was wearing pinstripe pants.
You're pride. You're a Mets fan. Pride in what?
I have pride in my team. I don't leave them when the going gets tough, like you.
Well, maybe you should.
Well,
He
I'm
says
not.
this about his team is the Phillies. Like it'd be different
Yeah.
if this was the Yankees or the Dodgers, like a real true like historical organization that has won multiple World Series. Philly just got good like yesterday, and now he's like, "Oh, you little Mets fans!" Like, give me a break.
Get out of here.
The Phillies were losers for decades, bro.
They are.
Decades.
They
That
were
is not.
losers,
Oh,
yeah.
That is
no
true.
way.
What are you talking about?
about?
In 1980 was a long time ago.
Then they won in 09.
Right,
Or 07,
30
sorry.
years.
That doesn't count.
30
They beat the
years.
Rays.
They had one bad decade, the 90s.
They were one.
They
bad
won 93.
decade.
They
Okay.
made the World Series.
And when did they win before 80? There was baseball before that. You know that, right?
Oh, you're doing baseball before that? You hadn't been born for 40 years.
I've only seen one Phillies championship since I'm 32 years old. You talk like they're the Yankees.
Well, to be fair, the Yankees haven't won a while either.
I've seen 5 of those. I
855
can count and unfortunately remember all of them.
855-212-4CBS. It's not just who do you root for. You're talking about a whole philosophical. We'd have to reimagine Pete Pilotti's an entirely different person if he became a bandwagon jumper.
I'm not doing that.
The Pete Pilotti you see before you would cease to exist if he
That's right.
became a bandwagon jumper.
Or disintegrate.
This is loyalty personified.
It's old school.
Glutton for
Listen,
punishment.
Of course.
Does it bother you that kids are wearing jerseys like Bogus' son is a Josh Allen fan?
No, I don't care. I don't care. Let them wear their jerseys. I pick my team. Look, if people
You care about my team.
if people want to root for players, that's a different way to approach things.
That's how I do it.
You know, well, no, that's not how you do it. I mean, give me a break. You jump from team to team to team. I had to pick your team. You picked the Pistons. Now you want another team.
Yeah, I want another team.
Oh, come on.
I'm a
2
sports
hours
fan.
later.
So I was.
One
if you're a
weekend
true
of a
sports
Pistons fan.
fan, aren't you a fan of people who are good at the
Then
sport.
don't say you're rooting for everybody. Then say
I want to see
just
excellence.
sports-
I
just-
want to see excellence. I'm sorry.
All right, you're a loser. All right, you're right in that category now. You are a loser.
You're the dude wearing a Mets pullover,
'cause
and I'm the loser?
because I have pride in my teams.
Do you see the color I'm wearing right now? Green. We've
Yeah,
been to the Super
olive
Bowl
green.
this century, dude. Unlike
Olive
your
green,
team.
loser.
Oh, okay. Who's your football team again?
The New York Jets.
Kelly Green.
End the segment right there. I win.
Win what?
A Super Bowl.
Well, you didn't win anything.
What? Yes, we did it. 17.
You
we.
win this year? No, you're a loser.
Oh, I forgot. Everyone who didn't win is a loser.
That's right.
And everyone who ran the New York Marathon and didn't come in first.
Losers.
Big time losers. Why even try, you gym class diehards?
That's right.
855-212-4CBS. Coming up, is there more drama coming out of Philadelphia? A.J. Brown trying to clear the air, but just leading to more questions. 855-212-4CBS. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff. All right, we had to bring in our boss, Spike Eskin, to clear up some things that have been going on over the last weekend. Been a big couple days for you, buddy. Thanks for coming in.
Want to go back to just being a manager guy.
That life is gone.
Yeah.
Spike is going to be leaving us to go take over afternoons at WIP, your old stomping grounds. And, of course, you are one half of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, which we love. Okay, so here's the thing. We got Eagles, we got 76ers. Let's start with the Eagles. So on the station, you used to be the program director. Now you're going to be doing afternoons.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, the wide receiver who had a lot of questions swirling about his relationship with Jalen Hurts, calls into the afternoon show. Now, you weren't there.
I was not.
Calls in to defend himself over things that have been said. What did we learn from that interview? Because I heard him say he's got a good relationship with Jalen Brown, but I don't know how much
Jalen Hurts,
excuse me. I don't know how much I believed any of this stuff.
That part I don't believe. Yeah. I do. The one thing that I think we learned definitely is that he is frustrated by all of the negative conversation about him and the Eagles after the season. He a bunch of times mentioned rumors and that he thought that the local media, that the WIP, you guys, he said, you guys are supposed to be pro-Philly. You know, what is all of this? I think he doesn't quite understand that there's generally a divide, I think, between athletes understanding how fans and media feel and what their role is. And then to the same extent, I think fans and media don't quite understand the mentality of the athlete. So a lot of times when teams lose, fans and media are like, why are you not miserable? You know, you should be more miserable, but it's their job and they need to wake up the next day and not be miserable, and they don't get that. But I think to a larger extent, somebody like A.J. Brown doesn't quite understand, and especially because he's mostly just been in Philadelphia for positive times,
right?
Is that everybody's super positive when things are going well, but when things aren't going well, it is not the fans or the media's job to just support you and be positive all the time and hope you get better. And I think he doesn't totally understand that part of it. Or
why did things go so badly?
Mm.
See, that's the thing that I wanted to know as someone who's not an Eagle fan, but I want to know what the hell happened.
I think that's what everyone wants to know.
Right.
And when there is not an answer, and it's most likely, I think, that there is not one specific thing that caused it, which is the difficulty of getting an answer. But A.J. Brown, and I give him credit for calling in for the 20 minutes that he called in and the questions that he did actually answer. But I think he didn't talk for 3 weeks during the season. He just refused to, he didn't want to talk to the media. And then when he did talk, he said that the players, it's not on the coaches, it's on the players. The players need to run the plays that the coaches call. It's like, well, wait a minute.
Who's freelancing out here?
What is that?
Yeah.
So when things go poorly, and they went poorly, to be clear, I know not everyone's an Eagles fan, but the end of the Eagles season, the last 7 weeks of the regular season and the playoffs went just about as poorly as any good team in the history of the NFL, as far as I can see. They did not just lose. They didn't just not make the playoffs. They got obliterated by the Giants in the final week of the season. They lost to the Arizona Cardinals, who were actively sort of like trying to lose. And then they lost in the first round by 20-some points to the Bucs, who also were not very good.
Right.
And we're talking about a team that was 10-1 and a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. People want to know. And as far as Jalen Hurts' relationship, which he wasn't super. He did say in that interview, I don't want to talk about what's going on with me and Jalen publicly, but we're good. Right. Well, so it's fine that you don't want to talk about it, but the only reason that I know that you and Jalen Hurts have a good relationship is because you guys released a video of you guys talking on FaceTime when A.J. Brown got traded to Philadelphia. That famous video of Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown being excited. The only reason I know that you have a good relationship is because of you. The only reason that I know that there was a problem between you and Jalen Hurts is because you were fighting with him on the sidelines. And the reason that I know there's a problem with Jalen Hurts is because you won't tell me what the problem was. It's fine if you don't want to talk about it, but you just can't expect, especially in a market like that is so football obsessed, that there's going to be issues like that and people aren't going to speculate. And then the final thing is that he accused the radio station of starting rumors that they don't. Like, the WIP hasn't started any rumors about anything.
Well, Spike Eskin is here with us, and he also accused the radio station of
I want to hear about your role in
this.
Yes, because
he was profiting off of WIP because of a rant that they clipped that you were doing, but it was not about A.J. Brown.
Right. So my role in it is that when I was down for the Sixers game on Thursday, and I stopped by WIP, and I did about an hour and a half with Jack and Ike. And when I had come in, I had been frustrated with an A.J. Brown tweet just criticizing the media, but also been frustrated with my own father, who works for WIP, also criticizing the media. So I went on like a 6 or 7 minute tirade.
Yes, and your father's Howard Eskin, by the way.
Right.
He's the legendary Philadelphia sports.
He's been on WIP for 30 years, and he's currently the sideline reporter for the Eagles for WIP. So in that rant, I was talking about both A.J. Brown and WIP and my father, Howard. At one point, I said that my father, every car he owns, every Rolex he owns, every house he owns is from WIP.
Right.
They clipped that, and I guess it looked like, I actually haven't even watched the clip, but they
filled in the blank that you were talking about
A.J. Brown.
So then watches are because of WIP.
So then A.J. Brown had seen it on Twitter, and then Darius Slay had seen it on Twitter, and they were saying, no, the money is not from WIP. I was actually not even talking about A.J. Brown. And the irony is that I was criticizing my own father, who, by the way, the things that he has are not obviously because of his hard work, but all are also because of WIP. So I was just not actually talking about A.J. Brown, which is frustrating. I wish he had known that. And I don't know what the clip looked like online. Maybe the clip looked like I was talking about A.J. Brown. I assume it did. That's why everybody thought that. But if you listen to the podcast, it's pretty clear that I wasn't talking about him in that respect.
One thing A.J. Brown said was, we were 10-1. He said to Ike, but we were not really 10-1 in the sense, and I'm going to take credit. I said that to Maggie. That was the weakest 10-1 because they were letting up. Sam Howell was throwing for 400 yards easily on them. Like, they were starting to fall apart. Is it possible there's no there and they're just not a great team? Or does there have to be behind the scenes? Maggie's more, there's a behind the scenes drama thing. And I think often she's right. But I also think the personnel was not awesome. And the coaching, especially on defense, was not awesome this year. When they went to Matt Patricia, that was not good.
I think it's fair to say that they were 10-1 and maybe they weren't a real 10-1, but they also did beat Kansas City. They did beat Buffalo. They also were 10-1. Your record is, and what I would say is, I don't know that every rumor that has come out about the Eagles since then is specifically true. What I do know is that someone within the team, whether it be a player, whether it be a coach, whether it be whatever, is making sure that the media has these stories. So these don't come out from teams that don't have anything. Right. If there was nothing would be there. Like, there's clearly something in there. I think there's a lot of little things, but there's clearly something that was rotten within the clubhouse, I think, or the locker room.
Spike Eskin is with us. He's going to be doing afternoons on WIP. He's our boss now for a little bit longer, and also hosts the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. We have started a new segment around here dedicated to Doc Rivers. The Spin Doctor.
Yeah.
Is what we're calling him.
He's the best.
Here's the latest on Doc Rivers on how the Sixers blew the Celtics series last year.
They were better. Could that be a possibility? Maybe they were better. Could that be a possibility? That's probably why you picked them, right? So that's one reason.
Doc went on to say Joel Embiid should have had the ball more, especially in Game 6.
I thought Game 6 was our game. I didn't think I didn't think Joel got the ball enough. And trust me, it was for him to get it, and he didn't get it. I don't know how healthy he was.
Why would the head coach of the basketball team know how healthy Embiid was? Like, how could he possibly be expected? And as well, he did everything there. He shirked blame. Mm-hmm. He blamed somebody else, but he threw one of his players under the bus. In that case, it was Embiid. And then he blamed the media for not picking the Sixers. Well, you didn't pick him. We shouldn't have won anyway. Mm-hmm. You also didn't get where he said that he hasn't even thought about it at all since last year.
Just has this impassioned defense or checks a lot of boxes about what went wrong.
He is such an idiot. He is honestly, from an ego perspective, I have never, and there's a lot of coaches with a lot of egos. There's no one like Doc Rivers. He is. I hope he coaches for the rest of time, so we can get the press conferences from him.
How do you feel about him knowing that Tyrese Halliburton was going to be an MVP candidate and not trading for him? Was that a sound strategy?
Right. As well, and he knew that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was going to be amazing, and he tried to tell that Kawhi Leonard not to trade Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. It's just nobody would listen to poor Doc.
Yeah, well, as Perloff said, he also tried to warn the Blazers. You really should have taken Michael Jordan back then because it was not a good idea to take Sam Bowie. He was just going to get hurt.
But I have a fear. The Bucks look pretty good now. What if they win again? Are we still going to be able to do this fun segment?
Win a title?
We're keeping
I don't know. They look really
forever.
good on Sunday.
There is no chance they will win a title. None.
They got Damian Lillard and Giannis.
No chance.
Listen, Spike, what are you doing later? Like running up the steps at the art museum? I mean, you're doing everything Philly. You're ringing the bell. You're in the middle of an A.J. Brown brouhaha. Now you're
trashing Doc Rivers.
Doc Rivers an idiot.
Yeah. Here's the question.
Well done, sir.
What can we cut, Maggie, to get Spike out of context and get him in trouble?
Please.
New segment.
Well, yeah, once in a week is enough.
Spike, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.
Like later, just right after the show, probably.
Yes, because you're a boss. We see you right
see
out
you guys
there.
later.
Yeah. Okay, coming up. One Duke player gets injured, and now you want to ban court storming forever? What has happened to us? We'll get into that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's destined to get knocked out by Jake Paul. She's destined to film it. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
I'm sorry if Kyle Filipowski of the Duke Blue Devils sprained an ankle on Saturday, Perloff, but to say that we should be banning court storming because this one player got hurt in this instance would be so short-sighted. Welcome to the show, by the way, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff.
Yeah, okay. Forget banning court storming. That's ridiculous. But don't you want some kind of order to this chaos?
No. I want people to feel like they're going to be safe, but to be honest, to put order in a court storming is like, it's an oxymoron. The whole part about it, the whole spontaneousness of it, spontaneity, the euphoria that goes along with court storming, to make that orderly takes away the essence of what this is. Now, listen, are there ways we can protect the players better? Is there better security? Are the coaches and the team itself, like Duke, who knows that when they get beat, a lot of times a team's going to want to storm the court because you are Duke University? I think we could have more protections, but I can't say, all right, everybody, single file line, we're going to storm the court now. That's not what this is about. It's a uniquely college basketball thing or college football, and I don't want to take the essence away from that and rob people of these moments that they'll remember forever.
Well, here's the problem. If you do not have security helping the opposing team, you're going to lose court storming. If you like court storming, then you better root for some security here. There's been some orderly court stormings lately. There was a Big East team that did it the right way. I heard this long take. It was either UConn or Creighton or some. Oh, when Creighton beat UConn, I think they did it the right way, where the security made very sure that the opposing team got off the court. That's not too much to ask at all. Listen, there's all sorts of rules in a stadium. It's not just chaos and free forming, and there are rules that limit the amount of alcohol students can have for good reason. So I think that you can have if you want to protect court storming, you better have some rules around this. Otherwise, you're going to lose it, because if Kyle Filipowski had broken his leg or something, guess what? There's no more ACC court storming ever, probably.
Okay, but see, again, I think that's really short-sighted because, yes, but, where were the people we've known and court storming has existed for so long? Like, if you wanted to make this safer and you wanted to have more security and you wanted all this, we've had decades to do it. You're just reacting now off of a famous player getting hurt. And Caitlin Clark got collided into at Ohio State or in Iowa when they were playing that was in Ohio State. But she thankfully was fine. And she didn't even want them to ban court storming after that. And I remember once upon a time when John Shire was actually a player at Duke and not a coach, and said he completely understood why people would storm the court after they beat him. Like, here's the thing.
He understood. That didn't mean he endorsed it, by the way.
He said it's something you expect when you're at Duke.
Right. Where's the endorsement in that?
Well, it's not an endorsement, but it is an understanding. So when you are coaching in this game, you have to know that if Wake Forest beats you because of who you are, you're likely going to get a court storm. And again, it's like a euphoric feeling. You know it when you see it type of thing. And to just like make that rank and file marching out there, and it's not a court storm at that point. Then you're just like letting people celebrate on the court.
Well, I think there are some rules. Correct me if I'm wrong. Football organizes this a little bit. There obviously was. I was just looking up. It was 1993 was the big Wisconsin Stampede where they stormed the court. And a lot of people got really, really badly injured. I feel like football, and I've been to a couple games where there's been field storming at football games. I felt like there was some order, like the PA announcer came on and said, like, let the game end. I feel like that's not that. First of all, this game, Wake Forest, it was less than 1 second left, but there was time left on the clock when they were on the court. You got to let the other team get off there. Is that too much to ask?
It's not too much to ask, but again, I think that there's a way that you can get the players off the court and not tell the students, hey, we're going to have you have to only go around this little area that's been barricaded off or whatever. Because I think that's also what leads to people getting hurt is when you try to funnel this big crowd into one spot when they're all trying to push and people are pushing from the back. And then you get people who are tripping and the stampede and that kind of stuff. In some ways, letting it be a free-for-all, I know it's going to sound weird, but letting it be a free-for-all in some ways might keep it a little bit safer.
I mean, we had an incident years ago. It was one of the last big games I think that Dick Vitale did, where there was an NC State game where a person in a wheelchair.
It was a viral moment,
and they fell, and they didn't get hurt, thank goodness, and the people were able to protect them. But that's an incident that could have been catastrophic. So when we talk about court storm, it's not also just about protecting the players, it's also about protecting the people running on the court. Like there's something.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
The guys push him out there. I think they loved it. Like they were trying to be the first
that guy
people
fell out
out
of the
there.
wheelchair. Like that could have been seriously
hurt.
dangerous. Like that, and there's not going to be an incident. Forget about even the people running on the court. There are people who sit courtside, people sit along the baseline. Some of them elderly, maybe some people not necessarily, most able-bodied. Like they're getting people jumping over them, running through them to get onto the court. I think about those people sitting courtside that want nothing to do with a court storming. They're also in danger.
Well, generally you put the students in one area, right? And so you have all the students kind of in one area. You usually the Wake Forest one, it felt like it was coming from all sides. But generally, it's like one section.
Well,
football's a little weirder.
Basketball is so different because of the proximity of the fans and players, which has become a huge NBA issue. We saw the other day Kevin Durant got into it with a fan. This is a big problem in the NBA. But I think in the NBA, what you're starting to see is security guards around the court who control it to some extent. I'm not saying the security guards should stop everybody, but just have pay a little extra to have a professional security guard help the other team, especially if it's Duke. Is that so hard? I think this is such an easy fix. That's the only thing that I'm telling you right now. If somebody major gets hurt on a court storming, because the court storming seem oddly spastic lately. If somebody gets hurt, say a real superstar, and Kyle Filipowski, I don't think is a superstar. If Caitlin Clark gets hurt or somebody of that level, then we're going to have a major problem. And all of a sudden, you're going to see bans all over the place.
Man, 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. College basketball, for a large majority of people, has become a 1-month sport. Why would you want to take away something that shows the importance of a regular season game? You don't get court storming in your conference championship. You don't get it in the NCAA tournament, obviously. This is a regular season game in February, and the students care enough to storm the court. This is not something that college basketball should be running from. This shows your relevance. And the fact that you get new students on campus all the time, it never gets old. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm a Patriots fan. I've been and I've seen 10 Super Bowls and they won 6. I'm not going to, storm the court anymore. I'm not going to get that excited. This is constantly new young people who are excited about the team. You can't squash that.
I don't think it's about squashing. I think it's about changing what is a dangerous situation and making it more palatable. And that fact, I think sometimes we get into this situation where we think, well, if we don't change it, it can't in any way be better. Like, just to say that just because right now it's spontaneous and right now it's you don't really know what's going to happen, it just kind of happens. That doesn't mean that it can't be dredged up and kind of, built up to be a big thing. If you go into a week and you tell your students, hey, Saturday night, big game, Duke's coming to town, we win, we storm the court. Like, you could make that a whole deal. People can get dressed up for the court storming. Like, you could make it a floppy hat night like George Mason did. Maybe you actually put your marketing and promotion behind it. You could make this thing cooler than it already is. But, like, if we stay in the mindset of, well, it's cool now, let's just leave it, I think that's a kind of a weird way to look at it. Because you can dress this up and make it even better, but also make it safe.
I know, but the reason why I like the court storming, we're talking about Duke star Kyle Filipowski sprained his ankle when the Wake Forest fans stormed the court and beat Duke on Saturday. The reason why I like the spontaneity of it, you build it up and build it up. It's no longer like in the moment, and it puts way more pressure on the basketball team to come up with an upset.
No, that's good. It actually makes the game actually more compelling because all the teams actually know what's at stake. And those Duke players, as soon as they win that game and they start looking at the crowd and saying, thought you were coming on the court. You know how many quotes we'll have probably in press conferences at the games of them talking about the fans? It goes both ways. Mm-hmm. And the most exciting we get, not just in this country, but all over the world is what? A countdown to New Year's.
Yeah.
Every year we get together. We all know when New Year's is going to happen. We all know what the countdown is going to be, and yet we all still get excited for it. So why can't you bring that
to a court storm?
By the way, I'm old enough to remember when you would storm the court and an actual upset, not when you're favored. I think that was super weak. I'm sorry. I know it's Duke, but come on.
But they had to get the win. That
they
part
had to
of it,
get the win. It was an important game, but still, you act like you've been there a little bit because you're a 3-point favorite in this game.
No, that's also it's thumbing. It's a thumb in the eye of Duke. Like that's part of it. You storm the court on Duke.
What if you were
Kentucky.
a much better team? What if you were a 20-point favorite Duke and beat Duke? Would you storm the court then? I think storm the court implies to me like this is an unexpected, shocking win.
Well, maybe. I mean, Jay Wright has given quotes about this where he's like, it's been different through different phases and different teams I've had. At some points it would be, ho-hum when we beat Louisville or we beat somebody. And then in others, it's like, wow, this is a young team. This is really a miracle that this team actually beat one of these ranked opponents.
But that's not this case. I mean, you're right. If you had Tim Duncan or you had Chris Paul or Rodney Rogers and Wake wins, I hope you're not storming the court, but you're supposed to win.
Let's go to the phones, 855-212-4CBS. You're welcome to weigh in, by the way, on the court storming at Maggie and Pearl. You can go vote on our poll. I love this from Birdie, who's in Florida. And Birdie, good morning. Thank you for joining us. You have tips for Perloff, who will have to drive from New York to San Antonio if Victor Wembanyama wins Rookie of the Year. Birdie, what are your tips for Perloff?
Yeah, well, this would have been perfect when Spike was there because this involves some policy. Is Perloff going to have to take vacation time? And also, how about sticking with the French theme? He could get an auto sponsor to drive across. Maybe he could take a Peugeot or something.
Yes. I like it.
Peugeot. Do they still make Peugeots? I haven't seen one of those in a long time.
I looked it up just to make sure they do. By the way, Perloff, we have something in common. I was also in the Anthony Edwards movie. You had a much bigger part. I'm sure I was just an extra in Revenge of the Nerds back in my college days.
Oh, there you go. I love that the two have the same name. It's great.
Oh, it's a different guy.
Wait, Birdie, you were an extra in the movie Revenge of the Nerds with Anthony Edwards, who then went on to ER fame?
Made in at the University of Arizona. It was Adams College. It was about 82, I believe it was my freshman year and sophomore year, and so they gave us about 6 or 7 days of minimum wage and 2 square meals a day, and I'm in one little scene with the dead ant scene with the carnival.
Wait a minute. I love this movie. This movie does not hold up, by the way. So I don't think I love this note by note, but it's a great soundtrack, great movie. So this is the carnival scene at the end when he tricks the woman into sleeping with her?
Yeah, there's a few scenes. There's a few scenes in there. One's the two guys, the Plaid brothers, up on stage, and it's a corny joke. And at the end, you'd say "dead ant," and the crowd throws popcorn, and I'm in the third row in the front. So it was a lot of fun, and I missed some classes, and I had to go to summer school. My parents never found out.
Did you ever meet John Goodman? Plays the coach.
I saw those guys around town. They were in all the scenes. They had a bunch of us there for a bunch of the scenes, and it was also the jock was one of the neighbors for
Married with Children.
Ted McGinley.
Yeah.
Married with Children. Of course, the other a couple of the other guys went on to have a little fame and stuff like that.
Yeah, Poindexter ended up being I'm forgetting his name, the guy with the red hair. Tim.
Tim Bussard or something.
Yeah,
like
something
that?
like I'll get.
He's
get
at
it.
30-something, right?
He's awesome, Bertie. Cool story, dude.
A lot of fun. And if you want to get back to my main other one, you can talk. I'll jump off air.
Yep, appreciate you. We need a car sponsor for Perloff, and Bertie's idea was to reach out to French car companies and really let's French this thing up. If you're going to have to apologize to Wemby.
So DP Show had a road trip sponsored by Mercedes Sprinter, and that way I could bring what's the crew, so I could bring Andrea, the astrologist, and the whole gang could come if I had a Sprinter. Forget Peugeot. I think we need a big van, and the whole show should come.
Well, I don't know if big vans kind of go with France. Everything's compact.
Mercedes, at least you're in the right sort of genre there.
So it looks
you're European.
Renault is also a French company, obviously, and Bugatti. So you can really be riding in style.
Bugatti is French? I would have thought that it's Italian.
According to Google, who knows what they know. I like this. Not a lot of French cars. I would have thought there would have been more.
Wasn't there a car called Le Car? Am I imagining this up? I remember there was
There's also a movie called Cars.
It's called Le Car.
Le Car, which in French translates to the car.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, Renault Le Cars. That was the Renault's big selling car. Lecar, Le Car.
There's also something called a Citroën, something like that. All right. Would you drive a French car across country?
Of course. Why not?
Well,
what do I care?
We talked about you eating French food only, which might be hard to find in certain spots on the map.
Yeah, I will completely ignore that advice because if I'm going, there's also a lot of barbecue involved in my tour. Obviously, the whole bet started because of this breakfast taco spot in San Antonio.
Which you haven't double checked to make sure it's still in business.
Oh, it's definitely in business. And first of all, there's 50 other great breakfast taco spots. We had a guest who pointed out, why can't the Northeast do breakfast tacos right? I feel like Texas kills us in that department.
Yeah, we've got no prayer. We're not even close.
I think it's just the volume of food we make here that we're just not going to be perfect at everything. And some things we just got to let go by the wayside. Especially like in New York City.
Oh, EJ, what a loser mentality. We can't do that. We just got to be better.
Oh, I mean, look, if you go to Texas, it's going to be hard to find good French food or hard to find a lot of other good foods. But in New York, you can find anything.
Oh, Houston's a big food town. I would be careful about that because Texas is catching up.
What about great pizza, great bagels, stuff like that the Northeast is kind of known for?
Right. Or and you go to places in Queens and in what's the name? You can talk about Caribbean food, Indian food.
Yeah.
Places from all over the world that you would never find in Texas. I know people who live in Houston. It's different.
Anthony Bourdain went down to Houston, and he said it's actually the most diverse city in the country right now. Every sort of, I guess, immigrant food there is there and amazing. So it's a huge food town because that very reason. I think first-generation immigrants make the best food. Can we agree with that? And it kind of gets worse over time.
It slowly deteriorates. Sean is our pal in Oregon. Good morning, Sean.
Morning, you guys. Hey, Perloff. I hope you did good Saturday. I hope you didn't play basketball.
Oh, yeah, your knee. Give us the update after you heard it going skiing last
So
week.
I was making a lot of I did not play basketball. It was getting really good on Friday, and I slept on it wrong last night. I've been limping all day. Thank you, Sean, for bringing it up.
Wait, how do you sleep on a knee wrong?
I just bent it the wrong way and woke up really sore.
Yeah, when you sleep with a knee, you almost got to prop it with a pillow.
Yeah, I should have done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say that, I hear you talking about the Phillies. The Phillies are
Go
a great
Phils.
organization, brother. That's a working man's team. That shows you have pride.
Yes.
And nobody can make you root for another team. That has to happen organically. So as much as they're going to try to make you root for Pistons, you're still in your heart, you got pride, and you don't want to talk about it, but you're still rooting for your Phillies, brother. It's like me with my Blazers. I saw my Blazers shoot 3 for 32 from three-pointers last night. 9%.
Oh, my gosh.
Wait, Sean, I'm sorry. Have you met Perloff? Perloff has no pride when it comes to this stuff. He's looking for the exit ramp the first moment of trouble with any of his teams.
I'm kind of reading it differently. I kind of think he really does. He doesn't want to admit it.
He doesn't, dude. He doesn't.
Well, Sean, honestly, it's different for baseball because baseball, I do have Phillies pride. Something about baseball, you don't want to jump bandwagon. Like, you're so ingrained with your team. And also Portland, I get the Trailblazers. Like, there's certain teams that, you might not be as big at NFL, you have different teams. But for baseball and the Blazers, like, you only have one choice.
You were ready to jump off the Phillies at the NLCS. There's no pride here. Sean, don't let Perloff fool you. He's bandwagon. That's the only loyalty you have is actually to the bandwagon.
No, I was realistic. I understood that Craig Kimbrell was going to cost him that series. I was very realistic about that.
You're Doc Rivers now. You can see the future.
No, you didn't have to see the future. That dude couldn't get anybody out, and the stupid manager would not pull him. Anyway.
Of course, the caller makes him out to be a hero.
Yeah, I mean, also give
still
me
has
a break.
pride.
I'm standing on business on the Phillies being a loser organization.
You guys honestly you're the worst team to root for in all of professional
sports.
You've been around
New York
for
Mets. 140 years, and you have
You're
two
the
championships.
New York Mets fan. You are the worst fan base in the entire professional sports world.
Are you actually kidding me? You guys boo your own players.
So do people.
And throw
batteries at them.
The only way that this is going to get settled is we're going to have to settle this somehow. Because just arguing back and forth about the Mets and Phillies, we could do this till the end of time. Somehow this has to get settled. I'm not sure how. Think it up. Meanwhile, Bill in California wants to weigh in on court storming. What we were talking about earlier, Duke star Kyle Filipowski sprained his ankle when the Wake Forest team, and students rather, stormed the court. Hey, Bill, how are you?
Good morning, Mag. Good morning, Perloff. How are you guys doing this morning? Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, bud. What's up?
Hey, field storming, court storming, guys, it's part of college. That's what you do. You go to college for 3 reasons: to learn, to go to sporting events and have a good time, and the sorority frat parties afterwards. That's what you do. I mean, even in the Super Bowl, they still allow a streaker because with all the security they have there, that nobody's just going to be able to jump out and go. That's a proven that they know they're going to have something go on. We need to go back to the 80s, take pages out of there, stop living in this third world country. We used to have bands storming the field when the play was still going on and stuff like that. I mean,
that one became kind of infamous. Bill, listen, I'm with you, not on everything, but I'm going to be with you on the court storming. It is one of the great things about college, and I don't want to take it away. And I feel like anything you try to do, like making more uniform or, it's going to take the essence away. But
I just think to protect the players is going to protect court storming. Otherwise, you might lose it. And was he referring to Morgana, the kissing bandit? I think we had a Morgana reference there.
I also like Bill's 3 reasons you go to college. The fact that learn was number 1. Kudos to Bill.
Yeah.
Learn was not number 1 for me.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true anymore or ever was true.
Learn number 1, go to sporting events number 2, fraternity, sorority parties 3.
Yeah. I don't know if I endorse this plan, but I'm not a huge fraternity sorority guy anymore. I was at a fraternity and I kind of regretted it. This is not really the best parts of college. Sorry, Bill. That probably sounds lame to you.
Well, I'd love to know Perloff's top 3 reasons for going to college.
My top 3?
Read Chaucer?
Well, number 1 is to get away from home, if you can. Or at least spend,
live on your own.
Yeah, I didn't do much Chaucer, a little Chaucer, more with Shakespeare.
Yeah.
But you don't have to be in a frat to go to a frat party.
That's true.
Which is what you're talking about.
It can kind of stand in just for partying in general.
Yeah.
Because there weren't a lot of frats where I went.
I got to be honest, I want my kids to go to a non-Greek school, especially because I have 2 girls. And yeah, I thought by the end, I went to Dartmouth, was a big frat school, the inspiration for the movie Animal House. It's kind of weak in this day and age.
Did you ever see the Alabama Rush?
I did see a little bit of it.
I wanted to see that, but I didn't.
It's on HBO.
Yeah.
It's good. 855, it's a sorority rush in University of Alabama. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. There's a lot of pressure on it, though, especially for those young women. Okay, lots to get to. You can weigh in on court storming coming up. I got to take a big L here today, guys. Going to take a big L. I'm going to own it. I might be wearing it. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, Twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio. Do not move. Sports Minute. let's not change the
Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So I did notice a headline this weekend. I thought, are you Maggie?
What's up?
A certain coach signing an extension, and I was like, oh. Maggie nailed that Nick Saban was going to retire.
From the logo.
Yes, that was a great shot. But I think you might have missed on another guy. Golden State Warriors signed Steve Kerr to an extension. So what happened to your theory?
Still alive. I think, Bogus, you plan to get into this a little bit in the update, too. I said I thought this was Steve Kerr's last dance. I thought that he was going to retire at the end of the season, and whoops, they signed him to a massive 2-year extension over the weekend. I'm still not ruling this out. I think this is all kind of like they want to just keep showing the optimism here, right? Like the things are growing and building here for the Warriors. They're sort of trending in the right direction. Klay Thompson has taken a role on the bench, starting to gel a little bit more. Maybe Draymond starting to get his head on straight, maybe. Young guys are emerging. I think they just wanted to keep all the positive energy going. And I still think that it's on the table that Kerr would retire if they win the title this year.
So
I think the extension was just like for optics.
First of all, they're not winning the title, in my opinion. But second of all, is Klay all of a sudden? I think they might re-sign Klay after what we're seeing this last week. That he's back. He's back, baby. And I think Draymond's under contract, right? So
yeah, they already extended Draymond.
So I know they're aligning Curry and Kerr. That was the point of this deal. I think that they're going to keep running it back. Believe it or not.
Bogus is not a.
I don't think you're allowed to say that this still could happen. You don't sign a 2-year, $35 million extension for show. Like it's. And they also are still bad. They're 10th in the West. The Bulls won the title in their last dance. Like, this is an L. You just got to take this one.
Well,
and
I mean,
go
things
home.
could happen. So the problem is when you take an L around here, you're supposed to wear the loser hat. Now.
Wait, let me guess. You didn't bring it in again.
I forgot it, guys.
Come on, Maggie.
I wake up at 3:30 in the morning.
You could wear it all week then.
No.
Oh, God. I'm
You're going to be I have to wear the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, no, that actually looks cool. Like,
there's nothing cool about these big
hats.
fans who actually. So I think, as we said before, we need to call an official vote on whether or not Maggie indeed gets to sit in the loser spotlight.
Yes.
You know what they say, you can't win them all.
There are degrees of loser.
On the Maggie and Perloff Show, we don't tolerate loser energy.
I feel like you got to live in the loser spotlight for a day.
Time now to see who has to sit in the loser spotlight.
Get in, loser. We're going shopping.
Every group has someone that they all make fun of.
Thus, they are losers.
I think this will be an easy one, but we do have to make an official vote. Now, Maggie technically already was in the loser spotlight for a previous terrible take about Charles Barkley and the Detroit Lions, but here we are.
I called it a bandwagoner.
Somehow, Maggie, again, still maybe with a second title. Maybe she's a dual champion here because we got to get her a second loser hat.
I'm going to be the greatest dynasty of all time, just only with loser. I still stand by that Charles Barkley one.
But here,
jumping
Maggie,
on the Lions bandwagon before the NFC Championship game. Give me a break.
Here we have Maggie saying that Steve Kerr may actually still stay with the Warriors despite signing a record-breaking contract.
Might retire.
Might retire. Excuse me. Despite a record-breaking contract. So, all in favor of Maggie being voted as in the loser spotlight.
Yeah.
1, 2, Pete.
Yes.
3, 4. That's me. So, Maggie, you are in the loser spotlight once again. You have the big hat on right now, but we do have a second hat. We have an alternative hat. It is a poop hat.
An alternative.
For the poop emoji that I will bring into the studio and place it in front of you to let everybody know that you are indeed in the loser spotlight.
Yeah, meanwhile, I bought that turd hat, and it's the stupidest thing I ever did because I didn't realize I might be the one wearing it.
Are we ever going to have a loser vote that doesn't go 4-0, by the way? Is there ever going to be anyone who doesn't vote for the loser hat?
Oh, man. I didn't want to wear this, and I'm not wearing it for the whole segment. It's like a wizard hat.
It looks like it looks like the Harry Potter hat.
Except for it's a poop emoji. By the way,
Gryffindor.
If Kerr does, eschew the $35 million and he does retire, everyone's wearing the poop.
Wait. But hold on a second. I think that's fair, but The Last Dance implies they win a title.
I've said that. I thought they were going to.
So
That was my bold prediction for the second half.
But they're not winning a title. That's your problem.
You could not be more wrong. They're bad, and he's literally signing paperwork assuring this is not The Last Dance.
Let's see.
You're saying John Kuminga could catch fire and all of a sudden figure out how to be really good?
Yeah, and he goes, 3 months ago I was here for 2 years and $35 million more, but now I'm out. I'm going to go home.
Guys,
this is good enough.
I'm just saying, I don't want to. I'm just not going to let it die.
I appreciate your conviction, but no.
Gosh, the Warriors are the 10 seed right now.
10
Maggie has
seed.
a lot of pressure on her. I mean, there's a chance they have Steph Curry.
Who's more dangerous right now?
A lot of people.
9 teams ahead of them.
Okay, I'll give you you want to take the Minnesota Timberwolves and OKC? Give me the Warriors.
You're going to need a massive injury in Denver because there's no way that the Warriors can beat that Denver team. I don't think they get to them, actually, because I know who EJ likes, but how are the Warriors going to beat these gigantically tall teams when their tallest player is, who's their tallest player? Kuminga?
Looney probably at 6'10".
Hey, by the way, Delta's in the chat, Delta9, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, twitch.tv/CBS Sports Radio said, I make that poop emoji hat look great. Somehow Maggie looks great in that hat.
It didn't look bad. It actually didn't look that bad.
Coming off the Niners appetizer, the poop hat does.
This big ass thing is so bad. I look like Toadstool.
My neck hurt like a day longer after wearing the Chiefs one when we first came back here. There's nothing good about that hat.
Your neck hurt from wearing this big hat?
Yeah.
We got to get you in the gym.
Yeah.
All right.
Working those deltoids.
The Warriors, by the way, played a game last night.
Yeah.
They didn't win it, shockingly, losing at home to the Nuggets, 119-103. Denver's won their last 7 meetings. Nikola Jokic, 32 points, 16 boards, 16 assists for his 3rd triple-double in a row. But again, there is Draymond Green. He believes Steve Kerr is staying for 2 more years, so he's happy about that.
Wouldn't want to finish my time here with any other coach. And what he's meant to this franchise, what he's done for us as players, the winning ways that he brought here is you can't replace that.
And you think Steve Kerr's going to let that man down by retiring this spring?
He should kiss Steve Kerr on both cheeks for the amount of money that Draymond's a great player. He deserved the money. But to get, don't buy him a house like Dion's kids bought for Dion.
Draymond getting loose again. He was flirting with a big one yesterday. He tackled Jokic, and his anger, he almost he was getting to the officials. There's another Draymond story coming. I'm telling you.
Nothing has changed.
His mental health, he did not fix whatever was going on because I saw him almost completely lose it yesterday.
Shocker. You can't change who you are in 10 days. Same thing with Ja Morant. It's this stuff is a little harder. Takes a little more digging.
Who would have thought? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Draymond's going to be a loose cannon.
What's wrong with Bilotti today? What is wrong with you? You are just in the most negative mood.
Sorry, I'm tired of hearing about Draymond Green.
What are you not tired of?
You.
Well, debatable.
That's good, I guess, right?
Do you have young kids at home or something? What's your excuse?
I do. I love my young kids.
Bilotti's kids are super young.
I just feel like there's been 9 negative Bilotti takes today already.
You're driving me insane with all your jumping teams thing.
And the court storming. I don't think that's also one.
Wait, you like or dislike court storming?
I don't. I think it's stupid. I think the whole thing is stupid. I think at this point,
basketball stupid.
Book 11, the whole thing is stupid.
With everything going on and what could happen during a court storm, and with all these NIL deals and all this money, I think it's idiotic to keep doing court storming.
Wait, if you want to take away court storming because of what could happen, what are you afraid? A light's going to fall from the top of we might as well not play the game.
Okay, so if somebody acts stupid during a court storm, and not just tackle somebody and hurt somebody, then what's the how do we handle that?
Because
we don't do it in the professional world.
I know we used to, but they don't do that. In like the 70s and stuff, people used to storm on the court. They
That
don't
means
do
we
it.
shouldn't do it in general. I don't think it's logical to keep doing it.
I don't know. I think you take it away. You take away one of the great things about college sports.
Oh, come on.
Like who is celebrating Duke Wake Forest court storming Saturday? Whose weekend highlight was that?
Yeah, right.
No, it's for the students of Wake Forest, I'm saying.
Oh, good. The unnamed co-eds that get to run over Kyle Filipowski.
Right.
Lifelong memories.
Listen, Bogish, I'm sorry Fordham doesn't have a few more court storms in them. I feel like is this,
that would be our luck. We would get a court storming and the best player would definitely tear an ACL in the celebration and we would never win again. That's how this would work. That's what I'm trying to avoid here, Maggie.
You need to score more than 43 points a game to
In fact, they just had their best game of the year, so look out. We'll storm that court in Brooklyn in the A-10 tourney if we have to.
there you go. Rams. Anything else?
NFL Network says the Chiefs and Andy Reid will soon start extension talks, further dismissing those retirement questions. Reid's current deal pays him $12 million annually, which is not near the top of coaching salaries. Rich McKay confirmed yesterday the NFL's competition committee has discussed the XFL's version of kickoffs. The play is on borrowed time because of safety concerns. These talks will continue this week at the Combine in Indy, and maybe the committee makes a formal proposal. Pro Football Talk has reported that the XFL version is unlikely to get the necessary 24 yes votes from teams. Inter Miami stealing a 1-1 draw at the LA Galaxy last night thanks to Messi scoring in the second minute of second half stoppage time. The Cubs yet to officially announce their reported 3-year, $80 million deal with Cody Bellinger, and all the emotions last night on ice in Chicago. First, the Blackhawks retired Chris Chelios as number 7, and Patrick Kane was back in town for the first time since being traded away last March.
Look out here!
Look at this!
Wide
Look
open
at this!
from center ice! It's Patrick Kane in Chicago!
Oh my God!
Kane with the overtime winner! The Red Wings win it 3-2! The story is complete on Kane's return to Chicago!
If you're scoring at home, Pete hated that call as well. That was Kane.
I love the play-by-play announcer, but do we need the color analyst stepping all over the call? I mean, let the call breathe.
Maybe he's at the Tony Romo school.
Radio 101.
Was on TV, Valley Sports
TV
Detroit.
101. Whatever, Media 101.
We've created a monster over there on the
We've
other
done
side of the
nothing.
glass, right?
All I need to hear is, yeah, as the guy's making the call. I mean, I want to hear the call.
Pine Needles in the chat said Pete is a bag of misery.
Not a bag.
What makes you happy in sports?
Okay,
What makes you happy?
Hold on. Pine Needle said Pete is just a bag of misery, but then Delta 9 said somehow he's convinced 2 women to marry him.
I think he preferred just one. to be
That's
fair.
not nice.
Don't get started on the first one.
Well, Delta says I haven't convinced one woman yet. And Pete
There you
is
go.
There you go. An
convinced
infinity
2.
lead.
Okay. If you only root for the teams, what makes you happy in sports? What have you enjoyed watching lately?
What I don't know.
The Mets have had a couple good Aprils.
Right, yeah. They had a big 15-2 April, I think.
Their
7
record on
years ago.
opening day is like amazing.
That's right.
They like never lose on
They
opening
never
day.
lose on opening day.
I love baseball. I'm in about 6 fantasy baseball leagues this year.
I know, but the Mets season is over by Memorial Day.
That's
so.
fine, but I love baseball. I will watch.
What
a
about the
regular game.
Super Bowl? You didn't have a team in that. You could you root for the Chiefs or the Niners?
No, I didn't really like both of them coming into the game. I watched the game, I enjoyed it, and that was it. Had some nachos, done for the day.
Has there been a wrestling positive recently?
Yeah, the whole Cody Rhodes, Rock,
go.
Roman Reigns
Oh.
situation.
But this is we rubbed it in his face that we were at the press conference.
Yeah,
And that Pierre was there as well.
Pierre
totally disheartened me.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't want to go. The WWE just called and said we have this extra spot. You can talk to all the superstars if you
Doing
want. I'm
it.
like, all right, fine.
Keep doing it. Keep adding salt in the wound.
I'm sorry, I have to go root for my Minnesota Timberwolves #1 seed in the West,
You
Bilotti.
root for the Pistons.
Actually, it was funny because we were interviewing the superstars, and then Perloff's like, I gotta go. I'm doing another interview.
Oh,
we
yeah.
did have to leave.
We did have to. Yeah, that was fun. And then my favorite part was, this is terrible. This will make you feel better, Bilotti. EJ had a woman wrestler feel his biceps and everything.
Yeah.
But
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
The man. Yeah.
The camera was not
Perloff
rolling.
didn't have the camera on.
Yeah, that was a great moment.
Yeah.
EJ's like, did you get that? Did you get that? Perloff's like, I think I got it. No.
Definitely didn't get it.
And whose fault was that, EJ?
No, it was partly me.
Partly you?
Meanwhile,
Partly me.
also in the chat, Daly says, I imagine that everyone in New York City is Pete.
Kind of.
That's honestly true.
Right.
Yeah. Not inaccurate there.
Come visit. 855-212-4CBS. 855-212-4227.
Come visit. Find the non-Pete's and have a good time.
Good luck. Anything else?
No, I'm good. Back
Very
to
good.
Pete.
All right. We did a lot in this segment. I wore a poop emoji hat. We got to the bottom of Pete's Michigan.
That was this segment? That feels like a long time ago.
Coming up, the Spin Doctor at it again. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Kicks off this week, today, I guess. Perloff and I have some bold predictions for what we're going to learn this week from Indianapolis. Perloff, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Okay, I'll go first.
Go ahead.
Now, you've been saying all along, the key thing to you in Indy is what happens behind the scenes, where different executives are talking to each other. I think a rumor emerges out of this combine week that is going to change everything. Now, it's just a rumor, and it doesn't mean anything. But I think you're going to start to hear that the Bears are strongly considering, quote unquote, strongly considering keeping Justin Fields. And I think the Bears start this rumor. One, I think they are considering it. And two, it just creates more of a market. So they're going to really start playing games with the rest of the NFL because they held everybody hostage. They have the number one pick. They got it from the Panthers. So everyone thinks a logical move is to draft Caleb Williams. I think you're going to hear Ryan Poles, the Bears GM, is going to say, you know what? We might keep Justin Fields. And all of a sudden, teams are going to say, well, we're really going to have to give up a lot to get up there. So I think the Bears want that out there, and Indy's the perfect place to get it out there.
Interesting. So you and I are going to go head-to-head on these bold predictions because I'm going to go a little bit the opposite way. I think you're going to get the general manager for the Bears saying Justin Fields is our quarterback for now.
Oh, see, I think he will avoid the dreaded for now.
When you
for
say
now means he's gone.
For now means not for long, means for later.
We have to play his sound in his press conference, which will probably be tomorrow. And we have to decide who's closer. If he goes for now, we'll know it. We'll see the clues in here.
So I have a second part of this bold prediction. We're doing bold predictions for the scouting combine this week. So I think the Bears general manager says Justin Fields is our quarterback for now, which is dreaded, means he's going to be traded. And I think Caleb Williams comes out and says he will play anywhere with no hesitation. I think we get a complete quashing of the, is he going to try to get himself to Washington? Or, hey, he doesn't want to play for Chicago. Caleb Williams is also going to talk to the media, and I think he is going to dispel any notion that he would not play in Chicago.
Right. He's already semi-quashed it. His people came out and told Colin Cowherd he's dead wrong about Chicago.
I think you hear it straight from the horse's mouth.
Yeah. If I'm him, I would try and avoid Chicago, but that's besides the point. All right. My number two is every combine has one freak who just, I'm using the word freak. Athletic freak is a Bruce Feldman term, who just stands out. And this one is obvious. I think once people see Marvin Harrison in shorts setting records in everything he does, he is going to become the story of the combine. I assume the Ohio State wide receiver will do a lot of tests because he's incredibly strong, can jump like crazy, and is super fast, and he's gigantically tall. He is the best wide receiver prospect we've ever seen. The only competitor is Calvin Johnson, and Calvin Johnson had no production in college, unlike Marvin Harrison. I mean, he had some production, but Marvin Harrison way more productive. I think we're going to be talking about, oh my God, to the point where he could break into the top three. I think he is going to be a huge story. I don't know what day the wide receivers test, but a week and a half from now, we're going to be talking about Marvin Harrison.
I like that.
That is not a bold prediction, by the way. That's just a prediction.
If I were Marvin Harrison, I wouldn't do a dang thing at the combine.
Wait till you see his numbers. According to Bruce Feldman, he's going to really challenge records for everything in the wide receiver. He could be across the board the best.
So we are doing bold predictions for the scouting combine. Mine is going to come, my second one is going to come from the Cowboys. I think the Dak Prescott contract thing is going to be the number one thing because Jerry is going to continually talk on a microphone, but the Cowboys draft, that's usually not controversial. There's usually nothing controversial about the Cowboys draft. They do a pretty good job drafting, in fact. So I think it's going to be all about, we're going to be back on Dak Prescott contract watch because Dak Prescott's contract is the key to all the other dominoes here for the Dallas Cowboys. Free agency is right around the corner. You can't go in with Dak having a $60 million cap hit or whatever it is and try to go out there and sign anybody of substance. And Jerry has already said they're quote-unquote all in this year. So to me, it's going to be Dak Prescott's contract gets back on the front burner because they've got to do something about this. It's untenable.
Right. But in the past, there's been a question about will they pay him. Is there any question about whether they extend him? To me, it's almost a 0% chance for the exact reason you just gave. So it's not will.
No,
it's
Dak's
more of a
got
wet
the leverage. I mean,
they're going to
got him over a barrel.
They're going to extend him. They have to. But you just said it perfectly. They have no choice here. They can't just completely strangle their salary cap this year with Dak's contract. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen soon, and it's going to be huge.
Of all of the, so those are our bold predictions for a scouting combine. Of all of the quarterbacks, who do you think is going to? So Caleb Williams is not going to be throwing.
Yeah, Jay Daniels not throwing.
Is not doing a lot. Which quarterback do you think is going to help themselves the most this week?
J.J. McCarthy's a really good athlete who had no production whatsoever in college. That to me, the quarterback debate comes down to production versus potential. So we know Jaden Daniels had this incredible season. The game tape is unbelievable. Drake May did not. But I think coaches are going to look and say, wow, if I had Drake May, I can make him really good. But then the other coaches are going to say, well, Jaden Daniels was in the SEC and it was already really good. McCarthy, same thing. Great athlete, but his production was not there. So I think that's Pettick's incredible production, not a great athlete. So it's going to be this debate all season long.
I think it's going to be the J.J. McCarthy throwing the ball, and people are going to be like, wow, he can really throw the ball. It's like, yes, of course he can. That was just not the type of game that Michigan was playing. It wasn't this like Michael Penix kind of downfield attack that Washington did so well.
Well, I think where J.J. McCarthy will help himself is the 40 and the jump, and he'll show that he can move a lot. I think there is some.
He's a running quarterback. We know that he can move.
Yeah, I think that, well, we know he can throw the ball. Obviously, that's what he came up as. I'm not sure that it'll work, but I think he's going to have to run a pretty good 40, and people can see him as an athlete. That's the thing now. I was watching the Patriots show that we're talking about later this week on Apple TV. Tom Brady never ran. Now, all these athletes all these quarterbacks can run, so I think that's a storyline with quarterbacks at the Combine as well.
What did Russell Wilson have to say about his future? Talk about bold predictions. Russ is calling his shot. Make Babe Ruth blush. Get to that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's a violin prodigy. Her full name is Maggie the Stallion. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Russell Wilson is calling his shot. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Russ making some bold predictions, Perloff. He was a guest on the I Am Athlete podcast. Brandon Marshall.
I don't know what Russ is talking about.
Well, let's get to it. Says he wants to win not one more Super Bowl. He wants to win 2 more.
For me, it's about winning. Over the next 5 years, I want to win 2. I want to feel the chill of that trophy again.
All right. Well, there you go. He also says, he'll stay in Denver.
I got more fire than ever, honestly, especially over the past 2 years of what I've gone through. Whether if it's in Denver or somewhere else, I hope it's in Denver. I hope I get to finish there. I committed there. I wanted to be there. I want to be there.
I hope it's not in Denver because it doesn't seem like your head coach actually wants you to be there.
Sean Payton hopes it's not in Denver.
And he has some say over this. You would think. Now, I don't mean this to sound harsh because I do like Russell Wilson and I think he definitely has a future in this league. I don't know if it's a starter, but he definitely can continue to play. But if you're going to ask me to pick a side here, I would say it would be more likely that Russell Wilson never reaches the playoffs again as a starting quarterback as opposed to wins 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. Is he going to back up Patrick Mahomes? How does he plan to do this?
Yeah, first of all, it's such an odd statement to say I'm going to win 2 Super Bowls in 5 years. I think every quarterback should be. My goal is to win the Super Bowl every year. That's like Russ usually says that, but I guess he's sort of lowered his expectations. I just do not see the spot where he is a winning quarterback, because the one spot would be Pittsburgh, because they have TJ Watt in that great defense. Maybe you win 2 there. But I don't know if it's going to be Pittsburgh. If it's not Pittsburgh, then you're looking at a bridge situation, Atlanta or Washington. And those teams, he's very likely to go to a team that is not ready to win a Super Bowl. So the odds of him landing in a Super Bowl-ready team where they can win 2 in 5 years seems really, really far-fetched to me. That's not usually what happens with quarterbacks at this level.
Okay, let's break it down. So Russell Wilson says he wants to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 2 to 5 years. I think saying 5 years was kind of, I don't know if it was calculated, but the cool thing about the NFL, and I think why we like it so much, is because there's always teams that go worst to first. And actually, you can turn things around in 5 years. Sometimes that's not a given. Like baseball teams and stuff like that, you can't turn things around. You can't become a World Series champion in just 5 years from a tank.
You don't turn it around with a 38-year-old quarterback.
Well,
you turn it around with a young quarterback.
I think he's giving you that 5-year window, because like if you could squint, you can kind of see any of these teams winning in 5 years. Like, do I think the Tennessee Titans could win in 5 years? Again, I've got to squint, but I could talk myself into a situation where they win in 5 years. Like, everyone has a shot in 5 years.
Well, I think he might be doing 35 to 40. That might be part of it, too.
Okay, you can do that, too.
But regardless, there's no formula. Tennessee, you can't squint and see a veteran quarterback leading Tennessee. Why? The only squint is if they get lucky and draft a all-time quarterback. That's how you do it in 5 years. You don't do it Matt Ryan was not going in at 38 and turning anyone around. So I don't think that scenario exists.
Well, again, it's kind of hard to see a starting scenario, period, existing for Russell Wilson, because you mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they are the odds-on favorite to land Russell Wilson, right, according to like DraftKings and FanDuel. Yeah. But you can't convince me that Pittsburgh would actually hand the job to Russell Wilson. He would have to compete to win that job with Kenny Pickett. Now, he might just beat him out. It's possible. I still think that Pittsburgh is still trying to make Pickett happen. I don't think they have given up on him by any stretch. I do think they were just going with the hot hand with Mason Rudolph and just trying to get through the end of the season. And Kenny Pickett was had this surgery and was trying to come back in this really expedited timeline. I don't think that meant that they were totally washing their hands with the former first-round pick.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. I think they invested in Pickett. I think you can't bring in Russ and start Pickett. I think Russ is still too good. I think you'd have to go with Russell Wilson. I think you can bring in Ryan Tannehill, who is Arthur Smith, the new offensive coordinator's former quarterback, and he can stay behind Pickett. I think that's fine, but you can't have Russ. You honestly think that Pickett could beat Russ in the preseason? That would seem like a major problem for the Steelers to bring in a future. Likely, I think he's a future Hall of Famer still. I think there are people who are saying he's ruining that legacy, but you can't have Russ as a backup. You can have Tannehill as a backup.
Yeah, but if I actually want to win the Super Bowl, I'm going to need a better backup than Tannehill, because he's going to get hurt too. I'd be worried about that. And
Ryan, I think Ryan, you're saying you're going to have a better backup than Ryan Tannehill?
I would like a better backup.
35-year-old, 3-time Pro Bowler? That's not bad for a backup.
Well, I'm saying I think Russell Wilson would be the better one. And here's the thing why I would make Russ the backup if he actually did go to Pittsburgh and there was like a real competition between him and Pickett. If Pickett struggles, I can always bench him for Russ. If Russ struggles, it's a really more difficult situation with benching. And then is Kenny Pickett going to come in and be the savior? That can get complicated. You can have Pickett and then bench him for Russ, and Russ comes in to finish out the season.
I think if Russell Wilson signed with the Steelers and was not under center in week 1, that would be a huge issue. I think that'd be the number one thing we were talking about.
Well, but that's also why there's not an easy find for him in terms of looking for a home. So he's saying he wants to win 2 Super Bowls in the next 5 years. That's all well and good. I'd more likely place a bet that you are not going to make the playoffs in the next 5 years.
I agree with you. I think he's going into a bridge situation where Washington's going to draft somebody and bring in Russ, or Atlanta maybe draft somebody or have a plan. I do not, unless it's Pittsburgh, there's no way he's winning 2 Super Bowls in 5 years.
I'd still say Justin Fields to Pittsburgh I don't think is dead either. Now, I don't know if Mike Tomlin likes Justin Fields according to reports, but Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator, passed on Justin Fields when they had the opportunity to draft him in Atlanta. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes? But if I'm really trying to keep my window open and I really think I need to move on from Kenny Pickett, I'd rather do it with Fields than do it with Russ.
Yeah, I hear you, but Fields and Pickett is a problem too. This is all problematic. I'm not sure in that. Who knows? In different offensive systems, Fields is very specific to certain kinds of systems. Pickett's probably very specific to certain kinds of systems. I think that's creating a messy situation, too, because there's two very young quarterbacks. Pickett and Fields are about the same age.
I know, but what's funny to me is that it seems like it would be untenable to have Pickett and Fields in the same quarterback room, yet there are people out there who want Caleb Williams and Justin Fields to be in the same quarterback room. That is 10 times thornier than what would happen in Pittsburgh.
Well, that's flat out Alex Smith, Patrick Mahomes. Then Fields is gone in a year. And
yeah,
Fields
but Alex Smith was in
that.
a way different part of his career than Alex Smith was in when he got to Kansas City. And Alex Smith had a couple years to start and really be the guy in Kansas City. Fields, came in. Dalton was starting at first, and then they were changing around offensive coordinators and everything.
I think the Bears started that rumor just so people said, hey, you better really give us some good picks. Otherwise, we're going to keep Fields. It does seem unrealistic. Again, I think the perfect solution is Kenny Pickett and Ryan Tannehill because nobody's going to care if Ryan Tannehill's on the bench or if Pickett's on the bench. If you bring in Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, you're courting a lot of controversies, stuff Mike Tomlin I don't think wants to deal with. You already have those crazy wide receivers. Do you really need a quarterback controversy like that?
I ask you this. If you picked the Steelers to win the Super Bowl last year.
Yes, right? I love it. I'm still picking them.
If it was Pickett and Tannehill, you're still picking them.
No.
Exactly.
But,
Thank you.
But I will tell you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the defense rests. No, of course you're not. But if it's Pickett and Fields, maybe you've got something going there.
Justin Fields.
Yeah.
I'm picking the Justin Fields to lead the Pittsburgh Steelers to the Super Bowl.
You want the Chicago Bears to stay with them.
I'm not saying I think Justin Fields is going to be a good quarterback, but there's no way he's 24. There's no way I'm picking the Steelers to go to the Super Bowl with that, or Russ for that matter. Honestly, they need to majorly upgrade their offense, and I don't love the Arthur Smith. I'm definitely not picking the Steelers next year. I do love the talent. I think their GM is on fire right now. He keeps picking these great players. He just is not picking the quarterback, and those are not the answers. If trade up to 1 or 2 and give me Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams, then I'll pick him for the Super Bowl. But none of these picks. Justin Fields, one thing about Pittsburgh, they have a great receiver in George Pickens. And what happened last year? They couldn't get him the ball.
Right.
And the offense totally fell apart. So you want a quarterback who's a little more Brock Purdy-ish and a little less Justin Fields-ish. Fields has trouble letting go of the ball. It doesn't really feed the receivers well. So I don't know if Arthur Smith is the guy to get that out of him.
I know. I love this, that Justin Fields can't get the ball to George Pickens, but everyone thinks he'd be able to get the ball to Maserati Marv with no problem if the Bears just pass on Caleb Williams and get a bunch of picks and get Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not going to be an issue at all. Him getting the ball to DJ Moore, getting the ball to Marvin Harrison, yet he's not going to be able to get the ball to George Pickens. See how inconsistent this sounds.
That's because he'd have Shane Waldron coaching him in Chicago. And Shane Waldron's great he's a former wide receiver coach, gets the most out of the quarterback wide receiver connections. Arthur Smith and Mike Tomlin, man, who knows what those guys are going to do with this combination. It's a matter of these particular situations. And Pittsburgh is not an ideal situation. They have a lot to figure out at quarterback.
Meanwhile, one potential Russ landing spot that we don't talk about a lot, and maybe it's because they're laser focused in on Kirk Cousins, but the Minnesota Vikings. So we get a little bit of drama potentially brewing with, I'm sorry, EJ, it was a guy from the Pioneer Press?
Yes.
Who is reporting that there's some steam? Steam was the word
Steam was the word that was used,
Picking up steam, reportedly, that Justin Jefferson could be a trade candidate. Oh, boy. I don't know why you would do that if you're Minnesota. I mean, okay, someone's going to blow you away. You got Jordan Addison, I guess. Maybe you feel like you have a number one receiver. I don't know what kind of message, the fan base is supposed to take from this. Is it possible, you bring back Cousins or maybe you go to Russ there and try to keep Justin Jefferson happy? I don't know if bringing in Russell Wilson will make him happy, but you got to do something because you do not want this to devolve into a situation where Justin Jefferson is not a malcontent wide receiver. Don't turn him into one. He just wants to know the future of what the quarterback situation is in Minnesota. That's totally valid.
Well, now there's this report out there that Justin Jefferson doesn't want wide receiver money. He doesn't want to be the highest paid wide receiver. He wants quarterback money in the 40s. So what if I told you he's demanding $45 million a year?
Well, I'd like to call his bluff on that a little bit.
Well, I think this trade rumor comes out of Justin Jefferson is negotiating. I think they're all he's going to become the highest paid wide receiver, and I actually am not calling this bluff. I think it's going to be significantly ahead of the next closest guy because he is like a quarterback to that team. I know that's weird and ridiculous, But Justin Jefferson's going to make anybody who goes back there effective in the short term. So I do think he gets a good, 10% higher, 15% higher. I think he comes way into the 30s.
Okay, but you're bidding against 36. Yourself, No,
well, that's why Jefferson or somebody got this report out there that, hey, somebody else will pay. You're not really bidding against yourself because there is a market. Another team could say, hey, if you don't want to pay him that, we'll pay him that.
I guess, what do you think about Russ to Minnesota? Is that a possible landing spot?
Yeah, of course it's possible, but you got to bring back Kirk Cousins. I love it. Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. That's going to go to the end of time. 1 year, 2 year guaranteed deals. No, they can't quit each other. Why would you go from Kirk Cousins? This offense works to Russell Wilson, where it's an unknown.
Well, just because if they don't want to give Kirk Cousins the fully guaranteed contract, and Minnesota's picking at 11.
Well, so Russ is expensive too.
No, but not because Denver's picking up the check.
What is Russ's per year? Yeah.
So Denver picks up the whole $38 million or whatever, and Russ you can pay $1.5 million. You
can pay him anything, right? But I saw a report that he's gonna want at least 20 for this year. He's gonna want a new deal.
Why? He should just take the Denver deal.
Well, he's gonna get
that money.
There's something about I read. I think it was either Peter that he's gonna get a new contract that's gonna pay him. It's gonna offset the Denver thing. So the new team, to get it all done, has to offset some of the Denver thing. So he's going to get between 20 and 30 from his new team.
Oof, I don't know about that. I thought
and by the way, Kirk
was part of the good part about Russell Wilson. That's the redeeming quality, is that he's going to be cheap.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to pay him some money. But regardless, Kirk's guarantee is not going to be that huge. What did he get? Daniel Jones money?
Yeah, that's $45 million, $40 million.
Yeah, but it's going to be short term. It's not going to kill you. I think that's okay. You're not doing 6 years, 100, Kyler Murray kind of stuff.
Okay, but if it was that simple, why didn't he have a contract extension?
I think he will.
No, but why didn't he last year? Like, why did they play this game if they love each other so much?
I think last year was revealing. They were really good when he was a quarterback, and they fell apart when he left. I think last year their offense kind of hit a new gear when he was in there. Who knows?
Do you think it's a newfound love for him?
I think they realized last year they could compete in the NFC with Kirk Cousins. I think they would have been a really dangerous team moving forward, and they can't without him. I think last year they learned a lot about life without Kirk Cousins.
I don't know. They had a home playoff game, and they, the bed to the New York Giants.
Yeah, but they were falling apart at that point. They were 13-4, and talking about the Eagles who fell apart at 10-1. Everyone knew that was the luckiest 13-4. They were spiraling, actually, ironically. But I think last year they looked really good. And let's face it, if you take Kirk Cousins off that team right now, they're 5-12.
Again, but maybe this is where Russ comes in. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Listen, it's not easy to find a landing spot here for Russell Wilson, especially if he's got these lofty goals, whether he's just talking the talk or what. This is not easy. It's not easy if he said, hey, I just want to be a starter and I want to hold the clipboard for someone else. Like this is, or, be a bridge or whatever. This is not easy to find a landing spot for him.
I don't think it's as hard as you think. I mean, there are a lot of bad quarterback situations in the NFL, and teams will be desperate. And there are only so many rookies that you can put in.
Oh, I get it. We get a revolving door of bad quarterbacks throughout the season, but going into the season, what's something that he would like that also would want him? It's like not that easy to find. Like Washington, does he want to keep the seat warm for Drake May?
He might not have a choice.
Maybe.
He might not have a choice.
That's true.
Yeah, but at the same time, again, he's going to go after whatever his options are. You're talking about a guy that may get cut and then have to sign a minimum just to be a quarterback for another team. But I think he's willing to do that. And look, we're talking about the possibilities. Again, not everybody's going to get Caleb Williams. Not everybody's going to get Drake May. Not everyone's going to get Jaden Daniels. So some of these teams are going to need a quarterback. The Raiders are going to need a quarterback. The Falcons are going to need a quarterback.
Right.
Obviously, the Broncos need a quarterback. It's not going to be him. But there are going to be teams that are going to be saying, hey, you know what? We need to get through this season and show our fans, hey, we're trying to do something at least this season. And he'll land somewhere there.
Right, but you're talking about kind of a situation that my friend Andy Dalton used to find himself in 3 years ago, a completely non-ideal situation where you're kind of doomed.
I mean, I don't necessarily agree that you're doomed in some of those places. Now, if Russ wants to win a Super Bowl, yeah, he's probably doomed. But, I mean, could the Falcons with him?
Yeah, Atlanta's interesting. I will admit that.
He's a much bigger upgrade from the guys they had. Again, the Raiders, you got Devontae Adams, you got Max Crosby, you got some stars, and we saw Aiden O'Connell win games for them. Could he not go over there and win some games there? Possibly.
I think the big thing with Russell Wilson, let's talk about the quarterback for 1 second. He has slowed down tremendously.
Yeah, he's 35.
Yeah, I know, but some guys are 35. Like, there were plays where the stick was 3 yards away, the first down stick last year, and he was running like he was in quicksand to get there. So I think that's a big issue. Who is Russell Wilson if he's not mobile? Because he was great 8 years ago, man. You could not bring him down in the fourth quarter. Now you certainly can.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Landing spots for Russell Wilson. Again, he said and told Brandon Marshall in the I Am Athlete podcast, 2 Lombardis in the next 5 years. I didn't know he wanted to back up Mahomes. He couldn't do that. That's the best way to get 2 in the next 5. Coming up, oh man, new sport alert. This one's amazing. Why didn't we think of this sooner? New sport. It's going to take the country by storm. We'll get to that next. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Wow, getting a little after dark here and early in the morning. People on the West Coast, people on the West Coast might still be up for that. Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff.
Put that poop hat back on. Let's go.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wait, what?
Wait, what? What? Bogus is
Somebody said
for,
Maggie looks good in the chat in the poop hat.
for poop wizards.
What the heck? That is a turn I did not expect.
That's what they do
It's
at
not this big-
Dave Matthews retreat.
Yeah, this big, huge, gigantic ad is that your thing?
No thanks.
Is that your kink?
Ooh.
Just
So-
a big ad, nothing else. I'm sorry.
Oh man,
You were
so
saying.
You bring the
This
hat.
is the,
I'll bring the.
The rosé.
Do you guys notice this was the first weekend where we didn't really have football in the sense? Last weekend there was no football, but I was still recovering from the Super Bowl. I think a lot of us were. This felt like the first weekend where we could actually live our lives, our off-season lives. And Maggie, I understand you went to an interesting soiree.
Yeah, I did. I went to a party. My mom was throwing a party. It was lovely.
Nothing like a mom party.
Oh, my mom, but she throws parties for a living, so she really knows what she's doing. And it was great, a lot of family and stuff like that. And one of the things that she got was a tarot card reader to be a part of the party. So the tarot card reader was set up in a different room. And as people are mingling and we did like this extended sort of cocktail hour, you could go into a separate room and have this woman, Stephanie, read your tarot cards as like part of the fun of the party.
Super fun.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know. And EJ's like, there's no chance I would do it. I'm like, dude, it wasn't a seance. We weren't like, we weren't conjuring anything. It was just a simple tarot card reading.
Every tarot card reading I've ever seen on television, which means it must be real, always comes out ominous, telling you, oh, you better not go to work tomorrow or something weird. Like, keep that away from me.
Yeah.
I'm fine with horoscopes. I have no choice to be fine with horoscopes due to my relationship situation, but I'm fine with that. Tarot card readings, that gets a little too personal.
Dude,
It's like
she's not like calling her shot. She's not like, hey, eat that piece of chocolate cake because it's going to be your last. Like, it's not that
But sometimes
science.
it doesn't
It's not
even-
on the nose.
sometimes it's not so much even the future, though the future ones are really bad too. Sometimes it's you seem to have, issues with something. Did something happen in your life when you were 13 and you know what it is and you don't want to say it? Like
You don't have to say it.
I don't want to even snoop it in that area. It's like, no,
You're
I'm
repressed
good. Like,
is what's
you
going
leave
on.
me alone.
All
I'll
right.
be fine.
It's not therapy. It's nothing like that.
No, but you sitting there and this woman knows everything about you. She predicts it's like this, and boom, that death card comes out. What are you supposed to think? There is a death card. That's specifically, I've gotten it before. I used to go to the tarot card reader on 7th Avenue over here when we were hammered. And if she wanted to boom that death card on you and you're kind of drunk, a little buzzed, there's nothing scarier. Well, I don't
A
understand.
death card doesn't mean you're going to die. It means something
they
in your life
say
is ending.
Yeah, called your life. What do you think the death card really means? They're just being nice, Maggie. That death card means that the end is near.
Doesn't mean someone's born.
She's fair. She said, I'm at a crossroads. I got the two swords with the blindfolded person. I don't know which direction to go in.
See, that was
It's
scary.
personal. Well, why would that scare you? It could mean
Crossroads.
anything.
Yeah, what crossroads are you at?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to find out.
Well, is this a good
if it's
tarot card
serious?
reader?
It also said I need to have a conversation with somebody close to me, and that it would be like there's a conversation I need to have that I'm not having. And to be honest, I don't really think I have that.
You said this
Wow.
was fun.
It was fun.
How does that what about that sounds fun?
I don't know. We talked about
You
our
need to have
sign.
a serious conversation and you're at a crossroads. That's what you learned.
I think it's fun. I didn't take it as gospel. Again, she'd have a crystal ball. She'd have some crystals that she put out. That was just really about the energy in the room. You got to zhuzh it up a little, you know.
So there's
I can't
all
believe you guys are so uniform.
There's all these tricks. The tarot card is much. We interviewed a magician in Super Bowl. Very much like a magician. They do two things. You walk in the room, they can tell certain things about you. Then they suggest certain things. And by the end of a good tarot card reader, you're like, oh my God, that person knows everything that just has ever happened to me, and knows everything that will happen to me.
Like,
It
give
doesn't
my
sound
social
like you.
security number and PIN number. Did that seem weird?
Did you have a good tarot card reader? Because it doesn't sound like she made much of an impact.
She was like very positive. You know, listen, you hire somebody to come be a tarot card reader at your party, which is what my mom did over the weekend, and it was a lot of fun. They're not going to come in and be like, it's looking bad. Like, of course they're going to put a positive spin.
Cancer, divorce.
Yeah, right. Earthquake's coming, tsunami.
And was there any connection with the dead at any point there? Because
Nope.
tarot card readers can do that too.
No, there was nothing like
Definitely communicate with dead people. Otherwise,
Are you sure? I think
a
you're talking
positive.
about mediums.
No, because the tarot card is similar in the sense that they could communicate with unseen things.
Maybe
Where do you think
this
those
is a
cards
different-
come from? You think where do you think the power to turn over the right card comes from?
I mean, this isn't the movie The Craft. It was simple fun.
But you need a rebate on this tarot card reader.
They have a Ouija board there too.
That's
Similar
next party.
philosophy.
That's the next sleepover.
I'm just confused that you're promoting it and said it was good, but you were taking nothing from it.
Well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I just couldn't think of it in the moment. Maybe I really do have some kind of conversation you'd have.
Which again, why would you be welcoming that?
I don't know. A problem shared is a problem halved. I don't know. Maybe I do need to have a conversation. Maybe it's better to clear the air. But I think I'm good with everyone I know. Maybe I'm not. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, exactly.
It did like ruin my night. It was fun.
It's ruined me and EJ's day, apparently.
Yeah, because now I'd be thinking like, yo, like, is there gonna be an issue with the show?
Oh no,
or
no,
with
sorry.
Maggie?
I did ask, is it personal or professional? So she drew another card and saw in that card it was personal. Everything's fine with the show. No career crossroads. So you're doing great. She loves the show.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was different.
Something feels wrong. You said fun 4 times.
Guys, it was really fun.
What the heck? What is kind of weak tarot card reading is this? I'm like, oh yeah. I went and I paid for this tarot card reader or a seance or something. It was fun.
Well, she's ignoring it. That's why it's fun.
Well, it
Yeah. First of all, you're in pure denial of the way the dark arts work. I don't think you'd understand how.
Yeah. And
You're like, oh, it was cute.
Yeah.
Every Doctor Strange movie I watched told me that this is bad news.
I know
This
you
is
guys
dark magic.
think of this as like witchcraft.
Yeah, no,
I
that-
didn't take it that way.
What were you doing then? Of course it's like witchcraft. It's exactly like
For a
witchcraft. That's what
laugh.
witchcraft is.
It's like for a lark.
Oh, Maggie, we have to take you to a real tarot card reader and freak you out. When you go in there and be like, oh, what was it like to be born in Syracuse, New York? Like a real tarot card reader will get to you underneath your skin. It was fun. It was a nice little experience. What are you doing?
Well, I
Not a
think
tea party. You're communicating with unseen forces.
Well, literally, I was at a party. I'm not going to be a downer.
But this lady should have spooked you. Like, that's the problem here. It's not registering. Like, if that said that to me, I'd be scouring my brain for the last 72 hours on who in my life do I need to have a conversation with, and what am I not looking? What am I ignoring or missing here? And you're
What
just
is
like,
it- what
oh,
is this
who cares?
crossroads I'm about to face?
Right, exactly.
I don't know. I feel like life just comes at you. You just got to take it for what it is. Or something like that. Bogus is here with headlines.
Well, we should pay
I'm
for
not
a
giving
real
you
tarot card
Stephanie's
reader to come
number
in
now.
and freak out
Honestly,
Maggie.
yeah, at this
No.
point.
I would love to see that.
Could somebody do that, though?
Definitely.
All right.
This almost needs to be a show segment.
What about that caller that does it?
Oh, Andrea. Can Andrea
She
do
doesn't.
tarot
I don't think
cards?
she does tarot. She does horoscope.
She definitely does tarot
Like she
cards.
reads your sign.
Oh, I guarantee you. I'll bet. Andrew, call in now if you're listening. You
Wait,
definitely
hold
are
on.
familiar
I feel
with a
like
pack of tarot
readers
cards.
and like people do horoscopes. It's almost like being like an infielder. Like if you can play second, you can play third.
Absolutely. Well, the
Super
corner might be a little
utility.
different. Yeah, no. Andrea, I will bet $1,000 she can read tarot
Hold
cards.
on. Andrea can't do it because I have to cut the deck. Duh.
No, but in general, she can do it.
Oh, she might be able to, but
She
you
has
have to
the
be
skill.
you cut the deck of cards is in front of you, the tarot cards, and you cut the deck as many times as you want, and then that's where she takes the cards from. So
Well,
it's
New York
like
City's lovely in February, kinda. Maybe Andrew will take a flight here. You never know.
you don't think there's tarot card readers in this city?
Well, that's what we're trying to get to you. But you're saying that you have one that was good. I'm telling you, if it's not a tarot card reader that's on the corner of some like weird street or in some alleyway where you got to climb up 50 stairs and go
super
to some
skinny building.
Yeah, in a really thin building and go in a very small, like 4th-story weird building. Like if it's not that, I don't know if it's a real tarot card.
And she's got to have a weird mole on her face too.
100%.
If there's no weird mole, then you're basically paying for nothing.
And on the floor above, you could do karaoke as well.
Yeah. And you
Great
can't
point.
tell where she's from.
Right.
No. It's some
this
sort
one
of
was from
gypsy
Jersey.
background.
Right.
This one was from Jersey.
No, Romania involved, like just from Jersey.
You can't be from Freehold and read tarot cards. Not allowed.
Maggie, well, let's get on the record. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do because I have a ghost story.
Okay.
So,
wow.
Yeah.
See, Maggie's not afraid of anything. Now we learn that that's a problem. She's seen ghosts. She's not afraid of. So now, once you experience that, you're not afraid of anything.
But it doesn't feel like she believes the tarot cards are real.
Right.
I think it's more like a horoscope. I think it's like a lot of things could apply. I don't think it's being so specific. It's like you're at a crossroads and something in your personal life. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
that could be anything.
Yeah, but it's not like what mascara am I going to wear tomorrow? It's like, am I happy here? Does this person love me? Am I moving? Like, it's a real thing. It can't be something simple like am I having mac and cheese later?
Try the tarot card reader down here by the pizza place.
All right, we'll see how much does she charge for a reading?
Maybe a slice.
I got trade slices for readings. Well, enough about me. Andrew Bogish is here.
Oh, actually, more about you because you asked going to break, why didn't we think of this sooner? I'd argue that we should have never thought of this.
So, da ist Axel Stein, Touchdown für die Wessis. Bauen die Führung aus, 19-12 und gleich noch der Pointer auf der Touchdown. Was ist hier denn los?
If you're not up on your German, that's American ice football. It was on German TV before our Super Bowl a few Sundays ago. Brought to you by the same minds who came up with soccer on ice. I guess there are some German celebrities involved in this. There are 32 players total, split into 4 teams. They're dressed like the misfit son of a football dad and a hockey mom, and it appears that their shoes are not made for traction, so there are plenty of falls on the ice while they play football because that makes sense.
It looks like just a bunch of Homer Simpsons out there trying to run. Because you're on regular shoes on ice. Obviously, this doesn't go well, and everyone looks a little heavier. Who are the German celebrities? Hasselhoff? Is there another German celebrity?
I read the first 3 paragraphs and I gave up. It was hurting my brain.
This is amazing. You see the guy try to kick the field goal?
And he fell.
Right on his butt.
I think my favorite clip was when, in American football, when there's a bad snap and it goes over somebody's head 20 yards, guess what? You just jump on the ball and it's a disastrous play. But not in ice football. In ice football, the quarterback can pick up the ball, and because nobody has footing, he's actually able to get past 4 or 5 different defenders who could not bring him to the ice and score a touchdown.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, you can't get this kind of play in American football. We have to bring ice football to the U.S.
I want to do it on the show, but Perloff's got a bum knee.
I'm definitely not doing this. This is a major injury waiting to happen.
Do they court storm on ice football?
Ice storm.
Honestly, the too legit to quit when they play with the touchdown is awesome. Give me more MC Hammer.
My daughters are into ice skating, and just if you guys want to laugh, just get me on ice skates. It is.
I bet. Well, we saw you on skis, and you almost killed yourself.
Desperately groping to find the wall so I can. So
Desperately groping.
Yeah, these guys. Honestly, if you guys ice skated recently, like you kind of have to hold on to the wall the whole time to get down the rink. I don't know how these guys on sneakers are doing it and not getting concussed every 3 seconds.
Well, they've got a helmet on.
Ice baseball would probably be the best of all of them.
No, I like the sports on their natural surfaces.
Or play ice football with cleats and see what happens. That'll be fun.
The shoes were tough enough.
Imagine sliding in a second. Ouch.
Have you guys ever curled? Now that's a good ice sport.
I really want to do curling.
Curling's awesome.
Curling looks so fun. It's my favorite Winter Olympic sport.
I think it's the hipsters.
What?
Curling is amazing. It's like bowling on ice. It's great.
I think it's boring to me. That's what
How?
To watch, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
doing it is fun.
Doing it is super
You're
fun.
just sweeping. Welcome to just being a woman. Sucks. Sweep. It's more sweeping.
When you're playing,
None of
the
the guys
sweeping
said
is so
No.
it's so interesting. You don't know what force to sweep. It's an incredible sport. Honestly, like we should go out as a team. You'd love it. It's like bowling. It's a combination of this American ice football and bowling
and a little archery. because it's like hitting a certain spot in the whatever.
There's zero archery in this.
It is a little bit like archery.
It's like a bullseye.
No, because it's like a bullseye. Exactly.
I don't think so.
I think
It's closer to bocce ball.
Yeah, bocce.
Okay.
A little more of that.
Let me pick the uniforms, please.
You know how in archery you let it go and it flings towards the target? This is not like that.
No, but it's about hitting a certain spot in a specific area. That part of it is like archery. That's what I'm trying to say.
Loose interpretation.
Throwing a basketball into a hoop is the same thing as about aim. That doesn't make it archery.
No, it's totally different. Because in basketball, regardless of whether you make it or miss it, there's only one result. In archery and in curling, there's room for being really good or okay, and you can still win.
Any other headlines?
I'm not wrong on this.
Moving on.
I got you. The Bengals have
I got this
officially
hat over here for
placed
you,
the
AJ.
franchise tag on receiver T. Higgins. NFL Network says the Chiefs and Andy Reid will soon start extension talks, and I don't think this requires the poop ad, but there are reports floating this morning that Maserati Marv will not work out at the Combine this week.
What the hell?
And
Sorry.
Wait, listen to this. He's probably not going to do anything. Pro day, private workouts, nothing. He's standing on his football and getting ready for next season.
Good for him.
That's ridiculous.
What else does he have to do at the Combine?
I want to see him if he could break 4.4 on the 40. That would be amazing to watch.
Yeah, tear a hamstring or something. He's smart. That's a smart move.
What about us? Well,
it doesn't matter about us. Mazda Marv wants to be able to be drafted and have a healthy career. I don't blame him. Good for him.
Whatever.
I got a second thing that makes Pete happy.
103.98 Sacramento. Malik for three. He's got the triple. Malik Monk from downtown makes it 106-98.
Not a Malik Monk 3, a highlight from Gary Gerald on Kings Radio. I know my Pete. Sacramento, a 123-107 win over the Clippers in L.A. Those Clips just unveiling new uniforms, a new logo. There's a slight color change, I think, in the shade of blue they're using. All of this for next season when they move into their new arena.
If the NBA wanted to do a church game, you hire Gary Gerald to do the play-by-play.
Mm-hmm.
What makes him so much better than all the other people?
Because he's very different.
He's also 80, so he's right in Pete's age
80?
demographic.
Oh, wow. Good for Jerry.
Yeah.
Gary.
His original broadcast was cans and strings. That's why Pete loves
No
him.
electricity either.
Wait, what
He was
is
there
that?
for the shot heard around the world and then also here for the Kings. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who he is.
He had to recreate broadcasts. He had to make the noise himself.
He was 70 for the shot heard around the world.
He's like doing the clippity clop for a horse race. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm actually
is
taking
like
shots
archery.
at this guy. I've never heard him. And I like the Kings, so.
Hear ye.
Wait, who does their TV? It's someone who also does national,
Mark
right?
Jones.
Mark Jones, right.
ESPN.
Is Ice Reynolds still part of that?
I think
Ice
Doug
Reynolds.
Christie.
Yeah, Doug
Christie
Christie has been a part of that. They recently fired Matt Barnes.
Yes.
From their.
I saw
that was
that.
wild.
Yeah, which
He got into a fight.
Yeah, well,
With a kid.
With a kid, yeah.
he grabbed the kid.
Gotta
at a
keep
high
that
school
part
game.
in.
It was like
That
a
is-
kid broadcaster.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was Gary Gerald's great grandson. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. What happened? Did he actually hit? He picked the kid up.
So he put the kid. So the kid. I don't know what happened, but his sons, I guess, were playing in a game, and he was upset about how, I guess, the announcers.
Student announcer.
No,
Yeah,
no.
so he went to
He was yelling at the refs.
Right.
And the kid told him to shut up from courtside so they could get back to the game, and he went at the kid.
Right. And put his hand on him and said, "Hey, son."
What kid in their right mind? We were talking about this with the Cam Newton video, which we'll talk about next. But what person in the right mind would ever yell at Matt Barnes? Do you not Google anything? Do you not have a computer? Matt
Someone
Barnes
has-
is not messing around, man. That's not an act.
someone who has guts.
His kids are supposed to be really good too.
Right.
They're twins, right?
That was
Yeah.
his second incident, right? Did we talk about? He had another.
I did not know
he had
about the
another
first incident,
big
but I'm gonna take your word
too.
for it. To be honest.
Yeah. He had another sports parent incident.
Can I tell you something? A little known fact about Matt Barnes. He's the best smelling person I've ever been around. Came in for an interview at Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
No one's ever smelled better.
I mean, his hair is
Called
always
weed.
very nicely groomed. I'm not surprised. By
What's that?
that. Oh, I missed it.
What'd you say, Brian?
What?
Oh, it was
It's
weed.
called weed.
No.
Well,
Yeah, because you're high as a kite after
All
spending
the
5
smoke.
minutes with him.
Wait, me or him?
Well, I'm just saying you after this. I mean,
The second hand?
yeah. I mean,
No, it wasn't weed. It was like some kind of. It must have been some sort of cologne or something.
I mean, you see his
Weed
hair.
cologne.
His hair is very gelled and
Yes.
very put together. Wouldn't surprise me.
And you know who can back me up on
though,
this?
for sure.
Chris Mannix was there. He's a man. Also said this. This is not like us trying to come on to Matt Barnes or anything. He just smelled great.
At what point, though, are you allowed to tell Matt Barnes to shut up? Like, it is a...
I thought you were going to say, you tell Matt Barnes you smell great. And I definitely didn't.
Then tell him to shut up.
Right. Pineapple Express? What is that?
By the way, shut up.
I don't think a kid can tell Matt Barnes to shut up.
But it's a high school game, and you're calling the game, and Matt Barnes is going crazy at a referee. Like, he probably was being too loud. He probably was being over the top.
You're not giving Matt Barnes the benefit of the doubt at all.
I watched him play for 13 years. I've seen how he is on the court. Like, he's a very intense guy. Like, I don't know. The kid wants to do his job. Like,
yeah, but isn't he?
Calm down.
I don't know. Serious. He's a huge marijuana advocate, as all the smoke. Isn't he chill a little bit because of that, or that has no effect on him?
He was smoking in the league, and he was not chill. So I can't imagine that has any effect on him in any way.
I thought people who smoked a lot were generally a little more laid back.
This guy drove like 2-3 hours to find Derek Fisher to beat him up because he was hanging out with his then ex-wife. Well, now ex-wife.
While
then
Derek Fisher was the
wife.
head coach of the Knicks. That was a...
That's not a chill guy.
No, but the other part, but I think this is, they have similar things in common, right? The kids are involved.
Right.
So I think once your kids are involved, listen, how many weird sports parents have we seen? Again.
Yeah, no, sports parenting is a whole thing.
And also, everyone parenting sucks. I was at one of those trampoline places yesterday. Like, you just can't win. Whether you're a chill parent, whether you're a helicopter parent, everyone's annoying.
I think you're right. I think sports parenting should be kept separate from the professional thing. You can't blame a sports dad for going crazy. I don't think he should have lost his job. That was actually my first thought. I'm like, all sports parents are crazy. Why are you going to fire him for that?
Didn't Mitch Wild Thing Williams get fired from MLB Network, I think, for the same thing?
Is that why?
I thought he was going nuts at like a Little League game or a youth game.
That's why Mitch in that big lawsuit is about that?
I don't know about a lawsuit, but
He's suing them for
me on
millions.
That.
Like, that was one of the most controversial firings ever.
I think it was because he was going bananas at a youth game.
Yeah. I think he sued MLB for basically took their pants off in a lawsuit about that firing. He's a Philly, so
He
I
won
gotta
that
support
lawsuit, by the way.
He did win the law. Interesting.
Was it about $1.5 million?
Was it about him getting fired? About the
That I'm trying to still figure out.
All right.
But yeah, it looks
recklessly
like
speculating here.
2 articles on the sports website Deadspin described his alleged behavior at a May 2014 tournament in Maryland involving a team of 10-year-olds that included Williams' son. Williams swore at umpires and ordered one of his pitchers to throw at an opposing batter. See, like, this is loser stuff. I'm sorry.
Mitch.
Like, Matt Barnes, Mitch Williams.
Easy.
Like come on.
Yeah, no, it's not
Relax. Relax.
How do you win that lawsuit? Anywho.
By the way, speaking of tournaments, we have 3 hours and 45 minutes in, and we haven't talked about the Cam video.
Oh, it's coming.
Oh, is it
Talk about
coming?
Next.
Yeah, on the according to the rundown.
Yeah.
Whole day rundown.
Saving best for last.
The last segment of the
Oh,
rundown.
did we ever follow the rundown?
The last segment of the
That's true.
It's just funny that the last segment of the rundown is literally labeled "What the hell happened in that Cam Newton fight?" That's the segment.
Queen's English right there.
So you just got to make it plain.
You guys and your
Kings.
rundowns and Bilotti yelling, "Get your read in now!" Can't we just have fun? Can't we just have fun like the tarot card reader?
She told me I'm at a crossroads.
Yeah, Bilotti's giving me the death card /stare right now.
It's only death cards. It's a stack of death cards.
I want Gary Gerald to be my tarot card reader.
He's actually carving them.
Yeah.
His great-great-grandson has actually just turned 90. 855-212-4CBS.
This is the times when I want to go, and the 2-2.
I was just,
But we're not a live baseball game.
I was just going to rip you for making a reference, and no one who's outside of that market has any idea what you're talking about. And how you know this guy so well is kind of weird.
Oh, there's a long history there, right?
Yeah, we've been doing this for 13 years.
I love Gary Gerald.
We're all getting up to speed. You guys learned about Bruce today. We're learning
right.
about Gary Gerald.
Yeah.
We're still learning, figuring each other out.
Got 13 years of morning show history to go through.
Yeah. And we got Bruce with the glass eye who lost it during sex.
Yeah, you're winning so far today.
I had to make up a story just to be in the crowd here.
You wouldn't be able to come up with anything as good as Bruce. 855-212-4CBS. All right, coming up, what the hell happened in that Cam Newton fight? As it says right here on the rundown. We'll get to that next.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. So this was wild. Got some video yesterday that involved Cam Newton. He was in a scuffle. It was on a 7-on-7 football game in Atlanta. So the event was organized by a place called We Ball Sports, an apparel and sports media company. It was an under 15 and under 18 teams in Georgia and Alabama that come together for these competitive tournaments. And Newton has a program that participated. So it was individuals involved with something called Top Shelf Performance, which is a wide receiver training facility in Atlanta. Have youth teams in the event approach Cam Newton at the top of a set of steps and grab Newton, and it basically devolved into like kind of a brawl. And some guy comes up and basically sucker punches Cam Newton. I mean, former MVP Cam Newton, Heisman Trophy winner Cam Newton. And, we were talking about this. So meanwhile, Cam's representatives have not commented. Everything got shut down. The Atlanta Police Department was called. I mean, it became a whole thing, Perloff.
Yeah. And the hat didn't move. That's probably the number one most important detail. He's wearing a big hat.
His hat collection, his hat line, his fashion line. And it never moved off of his head. I mean, listen, Cam's so this is what it comes down to. Why does anyone in their right mind think that they could come and mess with Cam Newton? First of all,
no idea.
The guy's huge, right? He wasn't just a quarterback, as he will tell you. He was a game changer. He was bowling over linebackers long before Josh Allen was doing anything like that. I mean, Cam is a force. Why you would ever think you could step to Cam Newton when I don't think people do this to, you would never do this to Lamar Jackson. You wouldn't do this to Alex Smith. I'm just trying to think of who else we could put any quarterback out there. Who's getting in fights?
Well, I will tell you one thing, though. It's a youth sports situation, and we're talking about sports parent. I mean, obviously, what happened to Aqib Talib, people getting crazy fights around youth sports. This is, and with the details have not come out, but I do believe that this could have something to do with Cam's team versus their team coaching. Like, it could be, are we in that sports parent? People just go insane around kids playing sports, and I wonder if these guys took offense to some. I have no idea, because I can't think of any other possible explanation. First of all, it's stupid because he's huge, but second of all, it's completely, they must have, it's illegal and unnecessary and just weird.
The other part, too, about Cam is like, listen, has Cam had polarizing things that have happened in his career? Absolutely. Did people have, opinions about Cam Newton? For sure. But I think he's generally beloved in the community, if you will. He does a lot. He does a lot for youth sports. He's out there. He's not just in some ivory tower. I think people respect that about him, EJ.
I think to some people, yes. But I think to other people, they look at how the media talks about Cam Newton. He stepped out and said what he said about these quarterbacks. And what did we hear? Half the people said, hey, maybe he's got a point. Half the people said, what did Cam Newton do?
About Brock Purdy.
Right, about Brock Purdy being a game manager. And it was, how many Super Bowls did he win? Didn't you not go after a fumble? Like, why do you wear these weird hats and weird clothes? Like, I think people, they are very on the internet and they say crazy stuff. And they looked at Cam Newton, they see his weird hats and they see his romper and don't think that he's about that life. Yeah. And he had to show them. But I do think that some of that is the dialogue and the conversation about these players and how they get talked about. I think Cam has been getting picked on, not just this incident, but another incident a couple years ago.
As more details come out, we'll keep you updated on that story. Thank you, DJ Stewart. Thank you to Pete Pilati, Andrew Bogish. Remy was with us today, yes? Doing a great job. See you tomorrow.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining.